Hello, everyone. Welcome to the PearCast, Episode 7, a once-monthly news roundup with a pinch of conspiracy theory. We have a bunch of funny stories to bring you here today.
You're that Dash.
Including gender reveals gone too far, broccoli men, and e-rosaries. Plus a few updates on some of our previous stories. And later on, the conclusion to our Donald Marshall saga. I'm Dan Eggers, and I'm joined here this evening by Paige Eckstein.
Hello, hello.
Connor Potts sitting across from me.
Hello.
And special guest joining us once again
Hello,
for the third
Internet.
time, Christopher Bruemmer.
How's everybody doing? I'm the super special guest.
Yeah, you're
Can
the
I say
special
that,
guest. They're the hosts.
Real quick, e-rosaries sound like if The Sopranos had enough seasons, they eventually would have got... Tony would have been tied up in the e-rosary business.
Well,
Like,
Oh, just wait. I'm excited to talk
that's
about
actually
this story.
our,
it sounds like the biggest scam. Like,
it's actually going to be our top story of the evening, but not at the top.
I gotcha.
But our top story, so we'll be getting to that very
Number
last.
one.
I'm actually not entirely sure what I want to start with, so I think I'm going to start with one of the funnier ones. Man pretends to be disabled to trick home care
my
workers into
God.
changing his diaper.
Oh,
God.
gross.
So, a New Orleans man has been arrested for pretending to be handicapped in order to have his home health care workers change his adult diaper. 29-year-old Rutledge.
What?
That's a weird age to be for this story.
Hang on, can we share his picture?
Wait a second. He's
can share his
29,
picture.
yeah,
he's
can
29.
can we share his picture?
his
and he
name
has
is-
to wear adult diapers.
His name is Rutledge.
I want you to
And
see how old.
his first name. Oh,
He's got a lot of scars on his face.
Okay.
why?
Yeah. He might do some drugs. Anyway,
Meth?
Rutledge Days, who also goes by Rory, created multiple social media posts for home health care workers. Days would specify in the ads that services would be for his 18-year-old mentally and physically handicapped brother, Corey.
Wait, so he's pretending to be his own brother?
Days would also then pose as Corey and pretend to be handicapped while the nurses changed his adult diaper, a process Days used to obtain, quote, sexual arousal,
There it is.
Yep.
according to the Louisiana
There
That's
State.
what I figured it was
is.
going to be.
Yeah, no, it's like a fetish. It's
I
like a-
was about to say.
So is
it's
he
a
gonna
diaper
get-
So
changing
this
fetish.
guy's mugshot here, right? He knew that what he's going to jail for is so laughable. He's got to try and look tough.
He's got a gold
I don't
chain
know
on,
what the fuck's
Yeah.
wrong.
but he's got a lot of scars
Are you
on
sure
his face.
at the risk of sounding insensitive, are you sure he's pretending?
Yeah.
Pretending enough that he doesn't need adult diapers.
Yeah, he does.
changed.
He said that it's for sexual arousal.
So is he going to get charged with like sexual assault? As he should, I
Home
feel
health
like.
care workers became suspicious of the scheme on at least 10 separate occasions. Days was arrested at his home without incident and charged with 10 counts of sexual battery and human trafficking,
Human? What?
Human trafficking seems maybe
and
a
one
little-
count of
I don't
possession
know.
of a Schedule II controlled dangerous substance.
Yep. Anybody want to take guesses? I'm going to switch to display again. Anyone want to take any guesses on what that controlled substance is?
I'm gonna say Tylenol with codeine.
Yeah, probably.
Right?
Yeah.
He had a crump chalice with Robitussin and
Honestly.
Tylenol 3.
Looks like a man that just likes his caffeine to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
investigation.
those are Red Bull sores. That's for sure. What's going on there?
The investigation's ongoing, and they're encouraging anybody who might be a victim to come forward.
What else do they need to investigate? Just more victims?
So
They
he-
already
To see
have
if there's
10
any
counts.
more victims. to
Well, the
come
like
forward.
human
I was
trafficking
about to
thing.
say.
Was he like holding people hostage? Like, did he not let them leave? How does the
don't
human
know if that's
trafficking come
human-
into
That's
play?
the thing. That's what I wonder if what it is that they're trying to throw the book at him and they're looking for the closest prosecutable. You know what I mean? Like,
Anything they
like
can do.
prosecutors will often stack the deck, and then it's up to
Yep.
your defense
Yeah.
attorney to say, "Wait a second, that doesn't." You know.
Yeah.
Let's get that down to 7 counts of human trafficking.
So it said there was like 10 people.
yeah,
Is that how long did this go on for?
I don't know that.
it would be really funny
he
/
even-
terrible if this is over a 2-week period.
Does he
Like,
even
it's-
have a brother? Is
No,
the
he
brother
doesn't mention a
entirely
brother.
made up?
I
He's-
think the brother's entirely
And
made
so
up.
where did he found these people online? Like, are these
Like
through
Craigslist
agencies
or some shit?
is this Craigslist stuff? Because I feel like
They're
there's
home health care workers,
Yeah.
which
But that's like expensive, though.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
usually if
He
they're-
spent a lot
if
of
they're
money
So
on
it
this
must
fetish.
be.
at least.
All right. Can you Craigslist home health care workers and see if anything comes up? I'm just really curious. Like
Yeah.
You can definitely find a home health care worker on Craigslist.
somebody, and it's like, does your ad say like change my brother's diapers and do whatever? Like I'm sure
Yeah.
they're oddly specific, right? Because you need to know that your Craigslist home, like. I would never get a home care worker for a disabled
From
relative off of
Craigslist.
Craigslist.
No. I wouldn't buy a
Yeah,
lot of things off
no,
of Craigslist.
no.
Connor, while you're looking that up, if it's going to be a minute, I'm going to move on to our next news story, which is Domino's rolls out bubble tea pizza.
Oh my
Ugh.
For
gosh.
those of you not familiar with what bubble tea is like tapioca pearls. Here's a picture of it. It
Pearls
looks
is
like
not the word I would use, but okay.
That's what they're called.
that's what they're literally called.
Yeah.
I know,
tapioca
but
pearls.
they look like fucking.
It looks
whatever.
like little caviar
Yeah.
on a Domino's
Yeah,
pizza.
they don't taste like caviar.
It makes the
though.
pizza look tiny for some reason.
What
so.
else is on that
Fucking
pizza though?
tapioca.
What's all that other
Well,
stuff?
this article comes from CNN,
What are
and
the
it
other chunks?
says Domino's is rolling out what may be its strangest pizza combo ever.
Looks
That's
like white
chocolate in the
hominy.
Take a look at
background.
the company's new bubble tea pizza. It's centered around the popular bubble tea, which is a milky, sugary drink and chewy balls of tapioca called pearls or boba. It's usually served over ice. But
I prefer
Domino's has
boba to
taken a
pearls.
thing step further and turned the drink into a pizza. The toppings include black sugar pearls, honey, and cheese. If you want to taste it, you better head on over to Taiwan.
There's also chunks of chocolate in that picture. And what are the white blobs?
That's not
It
chocolate,
looks
that's
like
boba.
white hominy.
No,
No,
behind
in the
the
top
boba,
corner.
that's
Oh yeah,
chocolate.
there is chocolate in
This
the
is
picture
a-
as
And their
well.
cheese looks like scrambled eggs,
Yeah.
and there's a thing of honey.
It
What the
looks
fuck
like
is
white
going
hominy.
on?
It looks like white hominy. Do you know what hominy is? It's like a
No.
type of corn almost.
Weird.
And that looks like fudge, not
It's
chocolate.
It's like a dessert.
Either way,
Does it?
kind of thing.
It looks fucking gross.
Although, we
Can you
have
imagine
a-
the texture? I'm sorry, that just
no,
hit
it's
me.
disgusting.
The tapioca pearls with bread.
Yeah.
That's not. Although it does remind me of a picture I saw where this guy's like finally trying out that boba tea, and it's a cup of beans in water.
Did you find anything on home healthcare workers at Craigslist?
No,
That's
not,
actually-
not any jobs. Most of it's workout equipment.
That's actually
elder
kind of
care, home
satisfying.
care
That's a little
supplies for
reassuring,
$50.
Okay, so we've established
Yeah.
if you get your home health care worker off the he was like he knew better than to call a company presumably.
I did see
I
some
don't
people
know.
looking for healthcare services.
Okay.
And there's also a busy healthcare industry organization for sale for only $749,000.
Guys,
It's not too bad.
Let's pool our resources.
Yeah.
I got a couple checks coming.
And all it says is highly profitable healthcare business for sale, well run, but could be grown by an energetic owner. Very profitable today. I
They
bet.
say very
Okay.
profitable multiple times in
I
that
want you to
post.
fucking bookmark this and let's make this into a podcast. It's just chasing down this $75,000
buying this.
That's
home
a
health
podcast.
care.
No, $750,000.
Okay.
as a Craigslist sale.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sounds
With-
legit.
with
Um,
literally zero information about it other than
We
it's
call
highly
this and you do
profitable.
all the talking
Okay.
because
I can do that.
Yeah,
I got
So-
the
I
guy's
can do that.
contact information if we need
yeah,
it.
save it.
You guys heard about all these gender reveal parties?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting out of control, right?
I just
Are
recently
they?
had my own.
Ooh.
Turns out I'm a boy.
Lots
It was
of
revealing for everybody.
I was surprised too.
lots of these gender reveal parties. I don't know if you've heard are like ending in death.
Death?
What?
Yeah, that actually wasn't what I was going to talk about.
No.
I wasn't
How
actually
going
gonna
to
talk about that.
What are they doing?
That's terrible.
Oh, well, I didn't really do my research too well, but I do know that a lot of people have been dying in gender reveal parties because they
my
usually
gosh.
involve explosions.
What the fuck?
Oh, people
I
are
have
like
not-
wiring
They're like
a
blowing stuff up.
I thought it was
I
like a
have not-
balloon you pop.
It's
or
like,
a
it's like you
piñata
toss a ball and
you
hit it
hit.
with a baseball bat.
Well, let
and it
me tell you
explodes.
guys,
That's what it
these
should
gender
be.
reveal
What the
parties
fuck?
are getting out of control.
I saw somebody run through a piece of drywall that was packed with powder of some sort.
Well,
Interesting.
That was an interesting one.
that's interesting.
Interesting approach.
Have you seen the one where
They're dead.
the woman
afterwards?
farts out the gender reveal?
No.
Oh,
What?
Does she die after that?
Yeah, what the
What does this
fuck?
have
no,
to
the
do with
deaths
fuck?
are unrelated. I just wanted to.
Oh.
All
Okay.
the
I was
deaths
just bringing
are
it up.
unrelated.
Gender reveals hit horrific new low as woman literally farts out the big news.
Oh Jesus.
What the
So I have a
fuck?
video here that I cannot show. So do not put this on screen. But I can play the audio from it,
Can we see it?
and of course you guys can
All
see
right,
it.
you
Woman
guys ready
dies
for
after
this?
explosion at baby gender reveal
So
party.
so check
It's
this
not
out.
on display, so only we can see
We
this.
can only see this, but we can describe it. We can say what's
we
going
can
on.
describe it.
Oh no. Oh my gosh. Okay, guys. This,
Watch
who Paige, you want to take a crack?
So
at
hang on,
this?
pause it.
Okay.
So
Wait a
Okay,
second.
so
Tell
hang
the
on.
audience
Which
what just happened.
which gender
Tell
is
the
that?
audience. Oh boy, they
Let's
said
describe.
that's our
what
show,
happened.
everybody. We're gonna wrap things up there.
We're all
it.
retiring.
Tell everyone
So,
what just
okay,
happened.
so it's a woman laying on her stomach with her legs bent at the knee.
She has
Wearing
no
a-
pants.
She has
on.
no
Wearing
pants on.
No pants or underwear.
No underwear.
Wearing a white hoodie.
And then she farts out a little poof of blue.
Yes.
And it cuts to 3 women, one of which is a large woman not wearing pants.
Yeah.
No one's wearing pants in this?
There's a very tall, very large woman holding a very small dog.
There's 3 women here.
Wearing no bra, a giant gray T-shirt, and no pants.
There's another girl
don't
that looks
know.
like she might be in a medical gown with no pants.
This is too far.
And they're all really excited for this woman that just farted out a puff of blue.
She
I
farted
was
out
am-
a boy.
I was imagining her like laying in a backyard with
No,
all of
no,
her
no.
family
How did they
around.
do this? How did they?
You think
Somebody
just-
blew that smoke into her
Yeah,
ass.
somebody just got a
Yeah.
straw. And
It had to get there somehow.
Dude, it's a pixie stick. They
Yeah,
just,
yeah.
They just dumped it in.
You think?
Yeah.
Does it say?
You
Does it say?
Does it say
Which
that?
of the
Not
3
saying
women?
shit.
Either
I
way,
think
Not
somebody
safe.
had to insert this powder
My money
directly into her asshole.
is on large woman in gray shirt, no pants.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think she's the one that got in
Holding
there.
a small dog.
Yeah.
Who
You
looks
think
like
she-
she's like 6'4".
Do you think she put the dog down when she did that, or held it? I
Oh,
don't
you
the
ready?
dog
Either.
helped.
Are you ready
Yeah.
for the best part?
Yeah.
There's
She
more?
died.
Would you like to know this woman's name?
No, what
Is it
What's her
Felchia?
name?
Paige.
God
Oh,
fucking
no.
damn it! Okay, hot take here. All pages except me are goddamn
Whoa!
white trash. I'm throwing it out there. I have
Don't say
never
that.
fucking met one that isn't, and I stand by
Fuck
it.
pages.
We
Let's
just
bring
watched,
it for this.
we
No,
just
no,
watched
no,
a
no.
page fart out blue dust at a fucking gender reveal.
Listen, Paige does not speak on behalf of the podcast.
I speak on
or-
behalf of someone named Paige who's sick of white trash hoes.
or all
Okay.
pages. Okay.
So here's the further,
Jesus Christ.
further
Hot
question.
take.
I fucking stand by
Dan,
it.
can you play that video for us one more time?
You want to see it? Give me a second. Keep
I don't
talking.
see.
Fucking goddamn it.
It appears to be daytime,
Paige.
right?
I hate it so much.
It appears to be daytime.
Yeah.
There's
yeah.
no. I don't see any alcohol, any signs of alcohol.
Except in the fetus.
Jesus Christ.
I can only assume, okay? And that's the
That's so
best thing
brutal.
that's probably in its bloodstream.
Damn. All right, here you go.
Okay, so the thing here, pause it if you can. The thing we left out is there is a tower of pink and blue balloons behind her.
Cute. It's like the only thing that looks like an actual gender reveal
Okay,
party.
now let it roll. There's no signs of alcohol and it's daytime. Like these people just think farts are that funny. Like
Also, who has a gender reveal with like 4 people?
I really wish it didn't.
the type of
end
person
right
who
there.
farts out their.
Her fucking face.
I
When she
really
does
wish we
it,
could show
dude.
that. I would get banned, I think, on Twitter.
Yes, you
You
would.
can share it in the Discord.
Here's the thing, though.
Yeah.
The surroundings. This woman, she doesn't look trashy enough
no.
to be doing this for. She looks like a normal person.
Yeah. Yeah.
But her name is Paige, so.
You're saying
Paige,
no normal
okay,
people are
we
named
need to
Paige?
move on to a story that's not going to make anybody say anything offensive. World's first airport
stand by it.
therapy pig hogs the limelight at a San Francisco airport.
I hate that.
This comes from Reuters. Reuters, right?
Reuters.
Reuters?
Is
I
it
said it right the
Reuters?
first time.
No, it's
It is.
not. That sounds too much like Royd.
Well, yeah. Still, it's Reuters.
Okay.
Pigs might not fly, but Lilu,
I really
the
hate
therapy
this
pig,
article.
wants to make air travel less stressful.
It's a therapy pig?
Yeah.
It's a pig that goes shh.
That's in the
adorable.
headline.
Is it a little pig?
The 5-year-old Juliana pig and her owner,
I don't know what a Juliana pig
That's
is.
what I'm looking
Tatyana, Danny Lova, are part of San Francisco International Airport's WAG Brigade,
Oh, it's
a program
spotted.
that brings therapy animals into the airport to cheer up passengers and help ease travel anxieties. You want to see a picture of the pig?
It's like a calico
just-
pig.
You want to see a picture of him?
Yeah.
It's like a Dalmatian pig.
Oh, he's
Look at
super
him.
fucking cute.
He's the
got a
cutest
little
little
like
pig.
pilot
Look, the
hat
nails
on.
are
Yeah.
painted.
His nails are painted.
Listen, okay, yes, that's all cute, but like when it comes to pig, like animals you want to pet to relieve stress, like petting a pig seems like petting like a bearded man with psoriasis. Like it doesn't seem like.
Well,
What you know what I mean? It's like
Tatyana goes on to say people are very happy and to get distracted from the travel, from their routines, whether they're flying on a journey for vacation or for work.
I don't
Everybody
know.
is usually very happy, and it makes them pause for a
I-
second and smile and be like, "Oh, it's great."
No one is very happy when they're flying.
They're just happy when they see a pig, though.
I don't know.
Hey, my flight's been delayed 6 hours and I need to get home for work. Oh, wait, a pig with fucking lipstick and toenail
Dressed like
polish?
a pilot.
Everything's great now.
Everything's
It can
great.
apparently do tricks.
Like what?
It
over?
does not go on to say
You
any
can't
of the
just
tricks
say
it can
tricks
do.
and then not elaborate.
I've never seen a pig in the airport. She can do tricks.
When it gets tired,
That's
it
all it
sits
says.
down.
I found an article about all the
Therapy.
different kinds of emotional support animals that people have.
Are pigs up
Number
there?
one seems like the worst possible.
Kangaroo.
What?
What?
In February 2015, a Wisconsin woman was asked to leave a McDonald's in Beaver Dam when she entered the restaurant with Jimmy, her emotional support kangaroo.
That can't be legal.
Right.
Bearded dragons, pigs, turkeys.
Ooh, I don't like turkey.
I'll give
A
you
woman
anything.
took a turkey on a flight.
You're just being an asshole.
Yeah.
There was
Marmosets.
almost a story.
I'll
I
give you
aired-
the marmoset. That's
Yeah.
the only one.
There
so
was
far.
almost a story I put on the podcast today about a man who took his cat on a flight and he got banned from the flight. I don't know if you guys
Why?
have heard about that because he like snuck a cat on a plane.
Oh, he
with him.
snuck a cat.
Where did he sneak it? How do
I
you
don't
sneak
know.
a cat on a plane?
Peacocks.
I don't know. He
There
did
aren't
it,
a lot
though.
of places you can sneak a
At
cat.
what step did they catch him? Because as a person who flies regularly, they
this-
check. You know this. They
Yeah.
check all
I'll
of
tell
your
you what
stuff
step.
everywhere.
I'll tell you
How
what
do
step. The step when he posted on social media.
He's like, check it out. I got a cat in.
Did he stuff it
That's-
down his pants?
That's the
they
part
still
where he
have
got
you
caught.
stand in
Or
that
pat
thing.
you down?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's not a story we're talking about.
Okay.
A story we are talking
Okay.
about
Is
is
this emotional support peacock that a woman tried to bring on a flight in January of 2018?
Dude,
no.
peacocks are mean.
We're done talking about emotional
No,
support
you're-
animals.
Ducks,
Okay.
chickens, miniature horses,
What?
squirrels, goats, parrots, sugar gliders.
So that's
A
basically
goldfish.
a goldfish.
That's the worst.
That's all I wanted to say about Lilu. Basically,
the monkeys
Lilu
make
is
the most
adorable.
sense.
basically to
Lilu
show
is
An
adorable.
emotional support tarantula. Just showed up. A
Hedgehogs,
hedgehog.
hamsters, ferrets, geese.
I basically just wanted to show off
Canadian
Lilu
geese,
and her
nonetheless.
cute little painted nails.
Yeah.
But anyway, moving on to our next story
Turtles.
from animals that you can pet to
Okay.
animals that you can eat. You can now eat fried chicken that tastes like girls' feet.
No, what? No, what?
What? Dan, what is
What?
this?
What?
We need to stop.
What does that mean? What do they taste like? How do people know what they
So I
taste
don't really
like?
like
They're
the way this
certified by
article's
Quentin
written.
Tarantino.
I don't really like the title of
this
this.
is-
Why
article.
is it girls and not women?
Hold on. It's this is
Marinated in bathwater?
this comes from Japan.
Of course it fucking does.
Hey, okay. Now, I don't know where it's on a takeout chain Tinka
This could be bad.
Torimasu's menu and their new Girls Soul variety.
You should write that out
This-
phonetically before you try to say it on the air.
What?
Just anything Japanese in the future.
I think it's okay. You may do it again.
no,
it
no,
for
I'm just
Masu.
messing with you.
Yep, you read that right. This fetish-inspired flavor claims to be the this fetish-inspired flavor claims to mimic the smell and stickiness of the underside of a young woman's foot, thanks to natto, a type of fermented soybean placed over the chicken.
So
what
it's-
do they mean by stickiness?
Also-
yeah,
Are you
that's what I
guys-
was wondering.
Here's the thing:
too.
if you're a normal human, you have no clue what the underside of a young woman's foot is like.
Also, is it any different from?
Anybody's foot.
Yeah, exactly.
I've
Like
been a
I'm
young
never in the
woman.
shower and I'm like, oh, yep, that's the underside stickiness of my foot.
Yeah, what the fuck does that mean? And what do they mean by young women? This seems
Listen,
like it should
all
be
right.
illegal.
I'm gonna join in your whole train of like just saying really questionable stuff about
There's a
entire
Vice article
groups of
about it.
people.
Really?
Here's the thing: the people who buy this probably have never experienced the touch of a woman in general. Like Japan is,
Let alone a young girl's foot.
yes,
What,
Japan
Where-
is
what is offensive shit are you about to say?
super. Well, they're super
Dope.
fetishy. Right, and like the younger people there have statistically like less and less real human connection and relationships.
Yeah.
So they're like all into the idea of eating this girl foot chicken,
What do
I
they
mean,
think-
can I
what do
tell
they
you guys
base the
something?
but
taste
they've never.
on?
I
Can I
guarantee
tell you
they've
guys
never
something?
experienced the underside of a lady's foot.
But can
And
I tell
anybody
you
who wants
something
this-
and
personal?
what an experience it is.
for $3.60, I'd fucking try it. Are you kidding?
I feel like it would taste bad. I don't
Listen,
feel like
I
feet
just
taste
don't-
good.
For free, you can go outside and just scoop up whatever is in your storm drain and eat it. Would you do it? No. Why is it being $3.60? If anything, going to Japan and getting something for $3 seems like a bad idea.
There's a picture of it. It just looks like
There's no
fried-
word on how it actually tastes.
fried chicken with like cheese.
Yeah, it just looks like fried
melted
chicken,
on it.
but it's
Looks
supposed to
like-
have like a skin that feels like sticky, and it smells like girls' feet.
But again,
Yeah, I get what you
what do
mean.
girls' feet smell
No,
like?
no, I get what you mean.
It's gross.
I'm
and it's,
really fixated on this stickiness thing.
Yeah,
What does that mean?
Don't worry about the stickiness.
Like,
That's
okay, Paige, you know how that you can take off your shoes and you can walk up a wall horizontally?
When I was a young girl.
Because you got ladies' feet. And then once like you fully mature, you can't do that anymore. It's like you got to get
I
them
miss
girl
those
feet
days
like between the ages of
when they're
like 12
sticky.
and 17. After that, they're not.
When they're like sticky and they got
they
that
lose
like, right
the adhesive
smell.
quality.
I'm so fucking
Yeah, for sure.
confused. This one just really. This
There's
story's
a-
gonna.
I'm telling
this
you,
story's gonna stick.
This
with
story
me.
was
it was
supposed to gross you
created
out, actually.
by
I
creepy
don't like
virgins
this
for creepy
one.
virgins.
This was supposed to gross Paige out.
I
this
feel
story.
weird.
Here you go. I
Like-
have a quote about what
Give me
it
a quote.
tastes like.
Lay it down on me.
Okay, so
Somebody
it
that's
says,
actually tried it. My article hadn't.
yeah, it's a Vice article.
Okay.
Um,
They do
Ooh.
freaky stuff.
Yeah. The title is I Ate Girl Sweat Flavored Chicken So You Don't Have To, which is a good title.
That's a good title.
But it says,
Great.
soon my order was up, and the visual presentation did little to assuage, is that how you pronounce that word?
Yeah. That's
My concerns. Served in a cup, orange chunks of meat.
Oh.
By the way, if you wanna Google
my
girl
God.
sweat Vice, girl sweat chicken
They
Vice,
have
you can get
pictures?
there's pictures.
It looks like
It looks like
the
buffalo
cup.
chicken.
If
covered
you
with
have to go to a
cheese.
children's hospital and take pills, this is the cup they give you your water
Yes,
in.
yes.
Like,
What it's served in is it's at the very bottom of this.
you'll see what I mean as soon as you
What does he
Oh,
say
up
about
a
it,
little
though?
bit more. I'm sorry. There.
that cup. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, dude, it's like
Now, the
full
chicken
of sauce.
itself-
You go to Cardinal Glennon
The
and you have
chicken
to take
itself just like
Tylenol
looks
every day.
like buffalo chicken with some sort of weird cheese, but why do they serve it in a cup like
Why is
that?
there a stick?
Anyway, it says
Why is it like a toddler cup too?
it says
You don't want too much girl's feet.
I took a bite. It was not a pleasant bite. The full bouquet of sweet, sour, salty, and cheesy flavors I'd been promised in the promo ads came in waves, with the savory umami of the chicken adding a gym clothes undernote to the experience.
All right. You know what?
So it's umami that does that.
I've heard enough.
You opened this up.
I know.
Who
and
made
I've
this?
had
Who came
enough
up with
of it.
this idea? Who decided what?
Japan
I don't know, but I
girls'
feel like they should
sticky
be
sweat
brought to
feet
trial
fucking
at
taste
like Nuremberg.
You guys know that weird
Like,
Japanese cannibal that's
this
like
is a crime
free?
against humanity.
You know what I'm talking about?
What?
There's that Japanese cannibal that's just like
yeah,
free.
yeah.
Is
Vice
it
did a
him?
thing about him too.
Is this him?
Maybe.
I
Wait,
think it's
wait,
just
wait,
a
what-
sexually repressed Japanese culture.
I don't fucking know.
There's a Japanese cannibal that is
Yeah,
free. Like,
mhm,
did he
he's just
eat? Like,
free.
did he
What?
kill people and eat them?
Yeah.
Oh,
he's
Anyway,
free.
moving on to our
And
next
making
story.
sweat feet chicken.
Coming back over to the United States, we have our most credible source ever for what we ever had on the podcast. This comes from NPR. NPR
geez.
News.
I wish I had the full original article title for this.
3 Indiana judges suspended after White Castle brawl that left 2 of them wounded.
3 judges in a while. Oh my gosh,
So
this is
no,
a movie.
The
This is
original time
Sorry, go
I
ahead.
saw this, the article title mentions that they were on their way to a strip club, but they stopped at a White Castle, got into a fight, and someone got shot.
Guys, this is a Danny McBride movie.
With like the Reservoir Dogs scene where the whole movie's in that White Castle.
And he's like, all right, y'all motherfuckers, take off your pants for some reason. This is a Danny McBride project.
The 3 had ended up at a White
Danny
Castle
McBride
after
joint.
trying to go to a strip club at 3 a.m. and finding it closed. A 4th judge went into the White Castle, while Bell, Adams, and Jacob stood outside. 2 men in the passing vehicle, Alfredo Vasquez and Brandon Kaiser.
That's the name you expect to
What?
come out of Kentucky. Alfredo Vasquez.
Holy shit.
It's Indiana. Parked their cars.
Either way.
Parked their cars after a gesture from Bell. Bell is one of the judges, I believe. Bell and Vasquez traded further insults. A physical altercation ensued among the 4 men, with Adam and Vasquez allegedly kicking each other and hitting each other as Jacobs and Kaiser wrestled on the ground. Kaiser then allegedly pulled a gun and shot Adams once in the stomach
Jesus.
and Jacobs
Oh my-
twice in the chest.
Oh my
Whoa.
god.
Everybody's alive. Everybody's alive. I want to say this now.
You got shot twice in the chest and is alive?
That's like
Yeah,
double
everybody's
tap.
alive.
White Castle.
At a White Castle.
What do you think the argument was over? One of them got
Does it
chicken
say?
ring sandwiches.
I have no fucking idea.
They got into a fight about whoever's idea it was to go to the closed strip club.
I have seen an update where they are all suspended without pay currently.
Good.
And the guy
that seems like a minimum.
the guy
Right.
who they got
Right.
into a fight with, they showed a picture of him and he's like this skinny little sad looking meth head and he's just like, I'm just real sorry.
I like how
He's
there
like, please don't put me in prison forever.
were, 2 of them were kicking and hitting each other while the other 2 were wrestling on the ground.
So wait, so the skinny meth head guy, was he just getting like chicken
I
rings
think
in the
so.
middle of the
I
night?
think he was completely uninvolved with
and
the
he's
judges.
like, oh, those guys are fighting. Hey, guys, break it up. And then now he's got like assault charges. like against like Kentucky
I don't
judges.
know who had the gun and who did the shooting and everything like that.
I'm
too.
imagining
Yeah.
they also have their judge robes on too. Also, while all of this is going down.
I assume they just always wear those,
Yeah.
right?
This is a very Connor and I were talking earlier about the righteous gemstones. This
Yep.
is a very righteous
yeah, yeah.
gemstone situation.
Except it's real life.
Yeah, but that could be the entire foundation
I
for a
found,
season
I
Maybe
found
two.
what
that's what they
started
do.
started the
Ooh.
altercation here. It says the altercation apparently started sometime after 3 a.m. when one of the judges, Sabrina Bell, raised a middle finger at two men yelling from a passing SUV, and ended after one of those men shot two of the judges.
Jesus.
Holy shit.
Christ.
In between, the three judges took a number of actions that, quote, discredited the entire Indiana judiciary,
You don't say.
according to an opinion posted by the Indiana Supreme Court this week.
Including going to a strip club and
And then it
eating
says
at
they
White
suspended
Castle.
the judges.
I'm surprised they only were suspended.
Yeah, right?
I know, right?
They suspended both Jacobs and Bell for 30 days without pay. Adams, who pled guilty in September to one count of misdemeanor battery, is suspended for 60 days without pay and sentenced to 365 days in jail, but was required to only serve 2.
2 days?
Yeah.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yep.
Pays to be connected.
Or
Wait, is
judge-
Alfredo Vasquez? Is Alfredo Vasquez actually one of the judges?
I would imagine, right? It has to be.
No.
No?
Is he
No.
the skinny little meth head?
No. So
Ooh.
let's clarify the story here.
Let's find
Alfredo Vasquez is one of the men in the SUV that was flipped off,
Mm-hmm.
and Alfredo Vasquez is the one that shot these people.
So how many judges were there?
It was an SUV
Four?
full
3
of strip
judges.
joint judges.
Yeah, but they were at the White Castle, and then another car with 2 people drove by, and those
Yes.
are the people that shot the judges.
Yes.
It wasn't that
Alfredo
the judges got in
Vasquez
an
and
argument.
Brandon Kaiser parked their car after the middle finger from Bell. Bell and Vasquez traded further insults, and then that's when the physical altercation ensued.
So the judges weren't fighting each other, and then some random
No,
people.
because it's 2 men, 1 woman.
Yeah.
The altercation broke out between the 4 men, and then it resulted with
The 2 male judges and the
Being
2 that
shot.
were driving by after
sir.
the female judge flipped
yes,
them off.
sir. So I don't really feel so bad for this skinny little meth head that shot some people.
Yeah,
no.
I mean, I don't think you were supposed to.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
think that was the one you were supposed to take sympathy for
Oh,
from
okay.
this story. But I want to find a picture of him, and I just loved where he
Everybody's
was
okay.
just like, "I'm
Everybody's
real
okay.
sorry."
That's the
I,
main
I
thing.
would
That's
argue
too
that
bad.
nothing is okay about this story.
That's too bad.
I don't want anybody who is at a White Castle at 3 a.m. ever deciding a case in an American court system.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, fair. Moving on to a much happier story. How about that? You guys heard about Broccoli Man?
Which one's which? That's Alfredo.
Oh, you
It's
got a
gotta be-
picture?
yeah.
Looks normal.
Nobody can see.
He
or
looks
hear
like
what
a
you're talking
vampire.
about.
He's a really pale, skinny little meth head looking dude.
Anyway, moving on
All
to our
right.
next story. Have you guys heard about Broccoli Man?
No,
No.
Are these men made
but
of
I would
broccoli?
like to.
Broccoli Man arrested in London protest sends Good Morning Britain viewers into a frenzy.
What?
I got some videos of Broccoli Man. Social media has gone into a meltdown this morning after a guest appeared on Good Morning Britain dressed as a broccoli. The man who was introduced as Mr. Broccoli was interviewed by Piers Morgan and Susanna Reid as part
I
of a
fucking
segment on
hate-
Animal Rebellion
Slow
protests.
news day.
I fucking hate Piers Morgan. Man.
Yeah.
However, Mr. Broccoli refused to answer any questions put
Mr.
on him
Broccoli.
and even used a banana as a telephone partway through the interview.
Hang on. This whipped people into a frenzy.
I was gonna say, did Broccoli Man go all Joker and like shoot Pierce
shoot someone.
Brosnan?
Yeah, like
Jesus.
this seems pretty tame to be whipping people into a frenzy.
He's like, make a statement. Broccoli Man's like, I'm not political.
He had previously been seen holding a sign in London's Oxford Street reading, I'm locally sourced and environmentally friendly.
why is this so upsetting? Why is Britain really upset by this?
I think it's a
this
good frenzy.
Stephen Colbert's character in The Office, Broccoli Rob?
Well, because he was arrested. So more than 1,300 people have already been arrested in protest, part of the international rebellion, with action taking place in cities around the world. You can see Mr. Broccoli's arrest in the embedded video, which I do
You have pictures of
have
him?
here. Oh,
Are we
yeah.
gonna see him get
This is
arrested?
the whole reason we're doing this story is because
the
of what
f- I did
Mr.
see
Broccoli
this.
looks like.
Oh my god, he really is dressed like
You know, let me show you.
I was picturing more of like a Groot like.
What the fuck?
That's
He's-
what
that's-
Mr.
he-
Broccoli.
All right, I'm whipped into a frenzy.
All right.
I am
Just
too.
for those listening and not watching, or
Yeah, describe Mr. Broccoli.
he looks more like old Greg than a piece of
he really
broccoli.
does. So he's got like a crazy top of the broccoli head that looks like it's made
Yeah.
from a bunch of green mops.
This
I'm
is the
Mr. Broccoli.
video
And
of
his
him
face
being
is
arrested.
painted green.
I'm locally sourced.
Watch this.
What's he
This
doing?
is what people are in a frenzy about.
Because they arrested him.
Yep.
He's just holding a little thing of broccoli.
What are they arresting him for, though?
All right.
Broccoli usage.
While it's terrible that they're arresting him, I guarantee you this kid's parents are rich, and that's why he can afford to be Broccoli Man.
I don't know, man. You're making a lot of assumptions.
love
Until
that
we
when
get him
he's
on the
getting
podcast,
arrested.
Yes.
don't be making these accusations.
I
He's
love-
described as an eco-warrior.
That makes sense,
Okay.
dude. He's fighting for broccoli rights everywhere.
I love that while he's getting arrested, he's holding up a little head of broccoli in his hand.
And
Wait.
just that, what did he do? How did he cross the line to get arrested other
Yeah.
than just looking like broccoli?
He just stood there.
They were like, "Oi, you look a bit too interesting," and then they beat him with wooden clubs.
I gotta say, there's an update.
Oh yeah, there's an update on Broccoli Man.
Not so green eco-warrior arrested while dressed as Broccoli Man, as Mr.
He's
Broccoli.
exposed.
As a white van man.
What is that
Meaning
fucking
Oh,
mean?
he's a creep.
He drew. Well, no, I think that means he basically drives a white van everywhere. So he's
It's
like,
not eco-friendly.
yeah, he's
Oh,
not very
whatever.
eco-friendly.
What the fuck
Oh,
ever.
I thought that meant
Chris,
like.
Jesus
I
Christ,
went that
dude.
way too. I thought it was going to be something way
You guys
creepier.
are-
This whole
the
story
article,
is very
the
strange.
article,
Heads out of
the
the
article
gutter,
is
guys.
literally 10 sentences, 10 lines actually.
This guy has a Ford F-150.
Sounds like he
Piece
has
of
the
shit.
brains of a vegetable. It says somebody's.
Oh my
quoted.
god! Why are people so upset about this broccoli man?
They said
These are some intense feelings.
He's part of a protest to save the planet, but he drives everywhere. Of course, I drive a van. How else am I supposed to get the fruit and vegetables to market?
Well, he's got a good point.
He says, "I live." They're like, he lives in a house with electricity.
Well, moving on
Wow.
from
This is. I cannot believe that this.
That's
is a
well,
fucking
the
article.
sun is total
That's
Yeah.
trash.
Oh
amazing.
yeah.
It's like super garbage.
Well, I just love everything about this. Getting whipped into a frenzy about a broccoli man, him getting arrested, and then them being upset he drives a van.
they're
like,
upset that he was arrested, is why they got in a frenzy.
I'm curious why
That's
he was
fair.
arrested.
Yeah, it
That's
doesn't
why
look
they're
he
mad.
Was doing it. Was
because
he protesting?
he looked
Protesting.
too
He's a protester.
interesting. I'm telling you, he was just too interesting.
Yep.
Moving on from
That
one
weapon in his hand.
one green over to another, police say people who smoke weed have green tongues.
Yep.
There's no scientific evidence for that, says the article.
What?
Where are these police?
Yeah, where is this?
Is this
from?
like Fuckburg, Tennessee? And they're
Yeah,
like,
what is this?
show me your tongue. York, and then they shine a light on it, and they're like, yeah, this is definitely a
this is
grasshopper
crazy.
right
getting
here.
dangerously close to deliverance.
This is in
Yeah.
York County.
York County, Tennessee.
In the early hours of May 2nd, 2018, Amanda Guimond was driving through York County when a red and blue lights came flashing on. She was going more than 15 miles over the speed limit. The Northern York County Regional Police
Why so
officers
slow?
smelled marijuana coming from inside her vehicle. Guimond, he wrote in Guimond, he
Are
wrote
you-
in an affidavit. of
Are you
probable
100% on this pronunciation of
We're gonna
Guimond?
stick with it. We're dedicated to it
We're
now.
just calling him Amanda. Amanda, he wrote in an affidavit of probable cause, had glassy, bloodshot eyes, lethargic speak, and a dazed and confused appearance. The police officer requested that Amanda stick her tongue out, and he noticed there was a green film on it.
That seems like a health issue.
Amanda
She's
was
covered in the
Cannot-
weed juice.
Amanda was arrested on DUI charges after failing standardized field sobriety test. She said she hadn't smoked for 4 hours. More than 1 year later, she said she was still bothered about the allegations concerning her green tongue.
I feel like
All
she
I
has
had
like
was a Jolly Rancher.
thrush or something. Like there's like something wrong.
so
I think
apparently,
there's like literally you have to have necrotic flesh
Yeah.
in order for it to be
for
green.
green.
Like thrush is like a white yellow
Or
like,
candy.
Yeah.
This-
or candy. Yeah,
What?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, maybe she ate some edibles.
some weed
Oh.
candy.
It could be.
yeah.
Maybe
Sour
this
apple.
doesn't appear
Yeah.
to be an exclusive issue to York County or an exclusive issue to anywhere specifically in the United States. It's just all over the United States. There's a lot of officers like
Green tongue
reporting
people.
a green film.
I
on
feel like this
people's
is a
tongue.
Dave
That's so
Chappelle check
dumb.
like sketch from back in the day where he's
Yeah.
like, "Look at my tongue, officer!" Ah, like,
It's got like a pot leaf
it
on
ain't
it.
green.
too.
I
Yeah.
also love how she says
Yeah.
that years later, or however long later it is, she's still upset about the allegations of
Yeah.
her having a green
Well,
tongue.
she's-
nothing to do with getting arrested or the pot or the glassy eyes or
also
dazed and
sounds like she was
confused.
maybe drunk.
She's
Yeah.
just-
She failed a field sobriety test and had glassy
Yeah.
eyes.
Amanda went on to say, "Not once has my tongue ever changed to green."
I love that that's what she's focused on. out of
I was extremely
everything.
shocked and
Oh
very angry.
These people are so fucking stupid.
Oh
If
my
someone is going to get
God.
convicted, it's based on facts proven beyond a reasonable doubt," said Bradley Meyerson, the defense attorney in Vermont.
That's
a defense
fair.
attorney in
That's
Vermont.
a good point.
Oh, York County's in Vermont.
Green tongue has nothing to do with marijuana ingestion, let alone impairment. as the
What-
science
so what-
behind it. As
Green.
sound as the science behind the Earth being flat or not. Lying makes your nose grow. That's what he said.
An infection
Oh,
or
my goodness.
overgrowth of certain germs is often
Are you
the
looking
cause
up
of
what can make your tongue green?
Is
Yeah.
it thrush?
And it says that it's common to have a green tongue after eating or drinking something with green food coloring.
Yeah, no
No
shit.
shit.
All right.
Thanks,
Well,
medical news today.
Okay, all right.
that's really it. You guys have anything to say about, it's weird that cops are lying to write tickets.
What?
It's almost like sometime in the 80s they
Never.
stopped collecting enough taxes and started getting all of the revenue for municipalities from police stops, which requires you to make shit up.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yep.
moving on to we're
Yep.
wrapping up. We're wrapping up. We got 2 more stories here before we do some updates.
Ugh,
We have
more about green tongues.
Doncaster traffic bollard used by man for sex, quote, killed in road smash.
What?
Wait, the first
Road
few words.
smash.
What baller?
Is Doncaster
Doncaster's
a place?
Okay.
Okay.
A traffic
Traffic
bollard.
bollard.
Imagine like a traffic cone.
Those things
Okay.
that come up out of the ground, aren't those bollards?
This doesn't this looks
that
plastic.
shoots.
Yep.
Okay.
This looks
know what
plastic,
this
but it
is.
might be.
Maybe that they have a different name.
Anyway, shocked motorists spotted the man, quote, enjoying himself by, quote, writhing up and down
Hell yeah.
against the road bollard and Amthrope Road on Amthrope Road last month. But the yellow
This
and
isn't
blue
in
directional
America, is
mark, the yellow and blue directional marker near the
Okay.
roundabout
Oh. Bollard.
Oh, shit.
within the road has
Yeah.
now been destroyed in an apparent road smash.
It's like
the
a
bollard
stanchion.
has been smashed off of its pedestal with broken car debris scattered around the base.
How was he banging it? What was he doing to it? Just like
Northern England. He was grinding up
rubbing
on
A
on
reader
it?
who
Yeah.
spotted the damage told the Free Press it appears that the bollard the man had sex with has been killed.
Oh no.
Wait.
The bollard has been killed.
Yeah.
Was he inserting the bollard?
I don't know what he was doing. to
Because
the
based on
bollard.
those pictures, that seems like it'd be hard to do.
I would like to have a
That's a good
moment of
point.
silence, please.
Oh wait, the man's not dead.
No, the
Wow,
bollard
way
is
to ruin
dead.
a
Yeah, no,
moment
for
of
the
silence,
bollard.
Chris.
Bollard is
Jesus
dead.
Christ.
Fuck this pervert.
The driver who
the poor bollard.
the driver who declined to be named said, "I thought this guy was just waiting to cross the road, but I got closer and I could see he was rubbing up against the bollard, writhing it up and down.
That's
okay.
fucking hot.
He was fully,
I don't know. I
he
don't
was
know.
fully dressed, but he seemed obviously like he was. I'm sorry. He was fully dressed, but he seemed oblivious to the fact that he was in the middle of a busy street. I don't know if he was drunk or something, but he certainly seemed to be enjoying himself.
He was not oblivious.
He added, I couldn't get a
No,
proper
no.
look at the guy's face, but as I slowed down, he seemed to be lost in his own world.
Was he like?
Don't look at
I like
me.
how
He
this guy's
seemed to
trying to
be
see his
lost
face.
in his own world, humping this bollard.
Okay, well, again, important to this story is what part of him is like.
I
I'm
think
trying
he's
to
just
visualize
humping
this.
it.
His ass?
Is he?
Why is it so? No,
Is he like? Is this like a
This is
Stimpy
dick.
from Ren and Stimpy situation where it's like his butt is going like back and
I
forth,
don't- I
or
think-
is this him like stripper poling it?
I think like stripper pulling
maybe.
it. Yeah.
I think he's fucking.
That's less graphic.
Whatever.
Man.
She's way to ruin everything, Chris. Moving on to
Listen,
our
I'm not
final
trying to
story
ruin
of
anything,
the
I'm
evening,
sorry.
where we get our title for this episode. Vatican launches a $110 quote click to pray wearable rosary,
Nice.
also known as an e-rosary.
$110.
Nice.
Can't you get
Can I
like
talk about this
10
one?
regular rosaries for
Yeah,
$110?
Paige, you're the
Are you
most
kidding me?
Catholic-
You can get them for change.
Yeah.
You can make children make them in
You are
Catholic
the most
schools
Catholic
like I
one
did.
here. I know nothing. About
Everyone, I grew up
Catholicism.
Hey.
very Catholic. I'm super excited.
I get to be Catholic too.
Talk about Catholicism.
True.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
Chris
I
is
don't
too.
wanna-
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
So
I'll let Paige
I love
handle it.
this one.
Yes.
I love this story so much because I imagine the Vatican, a bunch of ancient old men being like, how can we reach the youth these days? Stop molesting them? No, of course not. Stop preaching hell and damnation? No, of course not. $110 electronic rosary.
I think I'm gonna buy one right now.
My favorite.
I have
for sale now.
It looks like black silicone anal beads. I will say that.
Yeah, you want to see a picture
just
of
so
it?
everyone knows.
Yeah, let's see a picture.
But what? So for those of us who don't know, what is a rosary?
oh my
Paige?
A
god.
rosary is normally
That
much
ain't no
larger
rosary.
than this. It
Yes.
is used to pray the rosary. It's called the decades of the rosary. And the beads help you keep track of which decade you're on and which prayer you're saying. And it's usually interspaced with Our Fathers and Hail Marys. And so one of the selling points of this is it says with the e-rosy that it helps you keep track of what prayer you're on, which is what the fucking beads already do on a rosary.
Because it's
I
like the
don't
spacing,
understand.
right? It's like the beads have like the little emblems in between.
Yeah,
every so many,
there's like
right? So
little
it's
tiny
like
beads in between. So it's just there's probably a rosary in this room. I wish I had one to show. But why is it electronic? It doesn't even have a face. There's nothing on it,
has,
at all. There is no reason for this
has-
thing to be.
so
Does it vibrate? Is it a sex toy? Is that how the Vatican's trying to reach out?
It
It's
has a
sex toy
small
in
black
disguise?
cross that looks like it would go over your wrist part, and then like the other part's beads that hang down.
This was
Hold it in place.
this was the last thing Jeffrey Epstein did before he didn't kill himself.
They should just add a little LCD screen right there.
Yeah, why is there?
Well,
what?
you know what's really
For
cool?
$110,
Yeah.
it's completely
What
in the
about
budget.
this? Costs $110.
What it
Let
costs
me-
about
hey,
it is
check
they-
this out. Check out some of these features. The e-rosary is an app-driven device that can be worn as a bracelet, and to activate it, all you have to do is make the sign of the cross.
I forgot about that. That's my favorite part to activate it. Which I don't know what that
Spectacles,
means. still.
No, I think
testicles,
it's-
wallet,
yeah.
and watch.
Yep.
What does it mean to activate it? What needs to be activated? There's no screen.
Blood sacrifice.
I don't
Well-
understand. But to activate it, you
Well-
make the sign
Like
of
an
the
altar
cross.
that like just pours onto a
Once activated, the wearer can
You
choose
slit a
between.
goat's throat.
Oh, that's right. That's
Once
right.
activated, the wearer can choose between 3 different options to pray. There is the standard rosary, a contemplative rosary, or a thematic rosary, which will be updated every year.
Which one is that?
Every year, once
Oh.
a year.
The device
So-
shows the user's progress through each prayer and keeps track of each rosary you've completed.
Hasn't the rosary been around for like 900
Ever.
years?
Fucking forever.
Since like the 12th century or something?
Yeah. No, it's been around forever, but now you
And now
pay-
they're like, hey, we're going to update this thing every year.
$110. I
Wow.
love this so fucking much. This cracks me up. The Vatican,
When
God damn it.
simplicity meets
Here's-
elegance.
Here's where this comes from and why it's $110.
That's
right?
already a sex toy.
The Vatican is a bunch of elderly, creepy weirdos with no connection to reality. And they're like, I want everybody to know I just resisted the urge to do an Italian voice just now.
Oh, thank you.
I decided not to do it.
We're proud of you.
But I was almost like, oh, the universal voice of the Vatican, stereotypical Italian voice. But I'm not doing it.
You can.
But they have all the money, right? So they're like, they don't know anything about it. So they're like, let's get a design firm to come up with the e-rosary, and they give them like a $300 million contract or something.
I really
crazy,
wish it,
you know?
it had a face on it and it was like a little Jesus that like cheered you on, you know, like as you
I
did
gotta say
things.
though,
Should
on
be
their
a
website,
holographic display, and it's like
on their website,
your
it does do a lot more than it seems. It's like
Like
Does it?
what?
it's like a step counter and all of that.
Jesus Christ.
oh, hey, it's all the things
So,
your
you know.
cell phone already does.
Oh my
It lets-
God.
it
I
lets
bet you
priests
it
know where you are at
scolds.
all
I bet
times.
you it scolds you if you
If
don't
you're talking
go
to your
church.
parents.
Yeah, I bet it does.
More than just a rosary.
I love this fucking story so
Um,
much. The goddamn Vatican.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really.
I was about 10 feet from the current pope when I was abroad. He was
Mm.
kissing some
gross.
babies.
I have something blessed by John Paul II.
Nice.
But yeah,
I have no Catholic.
I have no.
Oh, I'm-
feeties
I have
to-
a relic.
I have no
have
Catholic
the
anythings.
toe of
I
an
went there for
apostle
the-
here.
for the-
yeah.
I was gonna say, you have the
Experience.
finger of John the Baptist.
I went there
It's
for the
buried in the floor
experience. I
here.
think it's all bullshit.
Anyway, before we move on to Connor's conspiracy story, we actually have, as we've promised to do in the past and never have actually done, some updates on some previous news
Yes.
stories we've done.
Nice.
We're gonna start off.
Let's talk about dolphin fucking.
Do I get-
Last time I
No
tuned in,
updates
that's what
on
y'all
that.
were talking about.
But do you guys remember, Chris? You were actually a part of this episode. Do you guys remember the sourdough cocktail?
Oh yeah. How could we forget?
Paige was
have
not
forgotten.
happy about it. The toe cocktail, the cocktail with the toe. For
I
those of our
finally
Oh
stopped.
shit! Yeah, that was the first one that I did.
Yes,
I
guys.
think.
So let me
Okay.
explain really quick. So for those of you who didn't catch
Yes,
that
yes,
episode,
I remember
the
the
sourdough
sourdough.
human cocktail is a
You know what?
it's
You
a
just made it
cocktail.
sound worse.
It's a cocktail with a toe in it.
I spoiled it.
A petrified, mummified human toe that you. I remember the quote. It was something something. You take the shot, but it has to touch your lips.
The toes got to
The
touch. your
toe's
lips.
got to touch your lips. So
Yeah.
unfortunately, this
mummified
update
toe.
is actually fairly sad. The inventor of the sourdough human cocktail.
Are you the inventor of that? Such a
He
thing?
did. He found the toe and he put it in a glass.
Okay.
Anyway, the inventor of sourdough human toe cocktail dies. Yeah. Thanks,
All right,
Connor. Or
all right,
Chris.
fucking pee.
Okay, I literally would walk around work and think about this story for fucking months after we talked about it, because all I can think about is when
Well,
they
good,
said that
this'll
some
remind you.
people swallow it, and all I can think about is the toenail. You would
Look,
feel that in your fucking
Look
throat.
at this picture of poor Dick Stevenson.
Yo!
The inventor of the curious
He
sour
was a
toe
Star
cocktail.
Trek
here's the thing,
fan.
if
He's
some
doing
people
live
swallow
long
it,
and-
how do they get the toe back?
He's doing
They
live
don't.
long and prosper.
They get a new
in
toe.
this photo we have on him, and
Look.
he's got a captain's hat on.
Here's the deal.
He looks like a fucking person that would drink toes.
He's doing a pretty shitty live long and prosper.
He may have
Like-
died, Dan,
Yeah,
but the fact remains.
he lives on in the toe.
It's
You
hard
can
to
drink
do.
it fast.
do it.
You can drink it slow. But the lips have got to touch the toe.
He's
That's
probably
the saying.
he said that to
Toe time occurs nightly between 9 and 11 p.m.
Yeah. Look at this photo. He looks like he has said that to like 2,000 people that he convinced to have a toe touch their lips.
The drink was invented, as we had said, after he discovered the toe. And he had recently passed away. This had been since 1973, I believe, that the challenge was around. Trying to find out how old poor old Dick was. Captain Dick, as
Poor
he's
old
known.
Dick. Poor old Dick.
His name's Captain Dick. Captain Dick was a true, colorful 5%er who changed Dawson's brand.
5%.
What is
His
that?
legacy is cemented with the sour toe cocktail, but we'll always remember him for his undying love of Dawson City. Thanks for everything, Dick. We'll
Wait.
toast one for you tonight. Visit Dawson City. Visit Dawson
Do you
City.
guys
Said in the
think-
tweet.
Wait,
They missed the
you
opportunity to
guys
say
think-
thanks for all the dick. You know.
do you think that he's going to donate his own toe
No.
to the sour toe challenge?
Ooh.
Well, here's the
No, it's
thing.
not.
If he's going to
Remember?
do that, he
We have
might as
Dick's
well
toe.
donate all of them so they
Yeah.
have a supply of toes.
I don't know if you guys
Yeah.
remember, but it
To
has to
last
be
a
like
while.
mummified and
Okay.
You can do it.
You
Salt
can do
it.
it.
Put it in
Just
some
make
salt.
jerky out of them fucking toes.
Yeah, salt that toe.
trying to
Also,
figure out how
did
old he was.
we mention this the first time we
89.
went over
He
that
died at
story?
89. Poor man.
He had a good run.
Did we
Fucking-
mention this the first time we read that story? Unfortunately, the original toe lasted only 7 more years after its discovery.
Yes.
And the guy swallowed it.
Mm-hmm. And they had to
That's
get a new
what. That's
toe.
what brought in the whole story.
Sadly,
We're
toe
talking
number
about
1 was not.
who
recovered.
donated
Even
a new
more
toe.
sadly, rest in peace, Dick Stevenson. Thank you for bringing the world the sour toe cocktail.
God damn it. This is going to be stuck in my head again. This is
Yep,
going to
you're
be like
welcome.
all I fucking
This
think
is one of the
about
most
now.
disgusting
on his
stories Paige
13th
had.
glass of sour toe champagne.
I hate this one. I
In-
hate this story.
And with that in your head, Paige, will you provide us our
No.
next update?
Ah.
The update on the St. Louis trolley. Let me kind of recap last time we talked
We're
about
doing
the St.
local
Louis trolley.
We
news?
have
It's
updates
bullshit.
on the trolley.
So
we've
we-
talked about the trolley before.
We've talked about the trolley before and how hilarious it was and all the things they were trying to do. Last we were talking about on the podcast, we were talking about them doing stand-up comedy on the trolley.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So can I say, because
You
I
can
wasn't
say.
I wasn't here the
Local
last
news,
time.
buddy.
As a local, my view of the St. Louis trolley is that it is proof that like graft and complete
like public money laundering.
yes,
is
money
just
laundering,
fine.
like corruption,
Yeah.
possibly organized crime. It is proof that all those things still exist because it's like $7 million of nothing.
Yes.
oh no.
Yep.
And-
Oh no.
no,
it's
hold on.
the-
We'll
No.
get there.
Okay.
I just wanna-
my dollar amount might be
I just
wrong,
wanted
but
to
it's-
describe what the trolley is because we are locals. We live in St. Louis. The St. Louis trolley is a trolley
It's a
in
streetcar
a shopping
reproduction.
district that nobody asked for. Nobody wanted
Yes.
this fucking trolley. They built this trolley.
Nobody
It cost a
wanted
lot
this.
of money.
It's 2 miles of track that goes from one tourist attraction
Yes.
to another that only locals visit.
And it's failing.
Drive there.
It's
Also,
failing
like,
horribly.
It also took years and years and years and years to actually become anything. It was delayed a ton of times. It's supposed to have 3 cars total, but they're insisting on restoring actual old trolley cars instead of getting new ones, which has led to a ton of the issues of it breaking down constantly.
It's one
Not-
shitty old businessman's dream come true.
and they were supposed to have a third car by like 2 years ago, and they still don't have that third car.
Not to mention,
either.
it takes up an entire fucking road and
Yeah.
blocks traffic.
and hits multiple cars.
But-
And that nobody wants to go to the loop
and
anymore.
for the
Fuck
cost,
loop.
like they
Yeah,
literally
loop
could have
sucks.
housed every homeless person in the
Yeah.
Yes.
in the
Okay,
Bison
so
area.
getting
so,
to
so
that.
last time we had talked about it, it was they had introduced stand-up comedy
to
on
try
it.
to get more people
and
in.
it,
to
and
get
from
more
what I
riders.
understand on NPR, it was
That's
actually
what I want from
it
a
was a
commute.
huge hit the first night, and then
Yeah.
after that it completely
Sure,
dropped off.
the first
And-
night, yeah. And then
and
they
the late-
realized the only comedians that would do that are trash.
Yes,
fucking
yes,
comedians.
yes.
No one wants to fucking go see
nobody-
stand up on a I
No,
don't want to ever take
no,
a
no,
train
no.
and have to be around stand up
Not
comedians.
to mention,
No,
it goes like what,
absolutely
4
not.
blocks?
Like, I'm sorry, I
Yeah.
don't.
It goes what, 4 blocks, and then it just fucking
Yeah.
turns around and comes
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
It's always
well,
late.
technically,
it
it
is
goes
always
it goes
late.
over a mile. Technically,
Wow.
Anyway.
It breaks down.
So
okay.
impressive.
what's the latest going on with the St.
So
Louis
I would like
trolley?
to say Chris mentioned something about $7 million.
yeah.
To date, through public and private funding, we have put in $52 million.
What?
Yep. $52 million dollars.
This should be a national story. Do you know that
It reached national levels in
Has it?
November, so don't
Okay.
because of this update.
I was going to say they estimate that to fix the Flint water crisis is $55 million, and they don't have the money to do it.
Yeah, we spent
And
almost
we just
that on
built
a
a trolley that
fucking
nobody asked
trolley.
for.
That would house everybody in St. Louis could have a new car.
This is literally infuriating
So-
to me.
This is the worst thing ever.
We have put $52 million in it. Taxpayers in St. Louis County will pay $840,000 a year on it. Let's say here, they generated $22,283 in the first year. So that's the tickets it's bringing.
How
in.
much?
$22,000.
How much is?
That's bad.
I'm gonna look up how much.
I
it
didn't
costs
need you to
get
tell me.
I didn't
This
know
is
if you knew that was
52.
bad.
this
so
is
far.
shockingly I knew
no,
it was
I mean,
bad. This
how much
is
it costs per ticket?
fucking
Oh, $2.
horrifying.
It's $2 per ticket.
Jesus.
So to give you an idea.
What further
11,000
proof do
fucking
you
idiots
need?
rode that
Also
thing.
fun. If you pay $2 and it's not currently running, it'll print out a little ticket that says to get a refund, you have to mail that ticket in.
Paige saw a post on Reddit.
So
where-
you're already down 30 or 42
Paige saw a
cents.
post on Reddit where somebody
Yep.
had put the money in and then it printed out what looked like a ticket and it said, "This is not a ticket. Please ask for or please submit this for a refund
Yeah, you
or
have
something
to
like
mail
that."
it.
Yeah.
All right, so on to the updates with it. Keep in mind, again, $52 million has already been poured into this. As of October, they said they need $200,000 more, or it will stop running by November 18th or something like that. And then they went on to say that immediately after they receive that $200,000, they will need an additional $500,000 to continue running into 2020.
Okay. I don't mean to cut you off, but Sopranos, right? Do you guys remember that for half of the series run, the Esplanade deal was everything in Sopranos? If you could Google it, I think that the entire plot of The Sopranos is over a third of the money as
As the loop trolley.
As
Yeah.
what we're talking
that's
about
what
here.
we're talking
Yep.
about. It's like a $25 million deal, and this is
So they
Yep.
got some of the money they were asking for.
What happened?
Tiny little note. Their website right now, from yesterday, and a service update. We are operating a single trolley today, resulting in increased wait times.
Yep. No, that happens a lot.
Yeah, the cars are constantly breaking down. More on that coming up too. So they
my
said they need
God.
$200,000 to continue operation through November, and an additional $500,000 after that to continue operating into 2020. My favorite part of this too is it came out where some guy involved in the county says he wants the city to contribute to the costs for
The
this.
loop trolley is in what we would call
The
the
county.
county, and then the
There's
city
St.
would
Louis
not pay
City
taxes.
proper.
because it's a new city.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. And so the city was like, no thanks. And the guy's like, I'm not going to appropriate any more funds from the county until the city contributes. And the city's like, well, okay, we're still not. We're
County
not
should
touching
stop-
that.
The county should stop.
They won't
too.
do anything.
Yeah.
So then what happened?
And then they
is-
should literally hold a trial where Joe Edwards is personally responsible for all of this.
Yep. So they did receive in the beginning of November. They did receive $90,000. So not the $200,000 they wanted. Still fucking
Much
operating.
shorter.
So look at
Much
that.
shorter
doing
than
just
what they
fine.
wanted.
But also in November, there was a call for an audit.
Yep.
On it because of all the money that's going in and nothing
'cause
coming out.
How
and
on
it's
earth do
breaking
you
down
have
all the
under
time.
2 miles of track, 3
Yep.
cars, and it's $52 million?
That's a
And you're
lot
still
of
asking
fucking
for
money.
more money.
Yeah.
And so during this audit, it came out that the person that's supplying the train cars that we've been getting it from are restoring them as a fucking hobby, which is probably why we still don't have that third fucking car.
Yeah.
Yep. So there's the loop trolley.
So that's the update on the loop trolley, guys. We'll
It's such a
update you
fucking
next time when it's
Jesus
officially
Christ.
closed and being
Hang on
ripped
one
out.
second.
Oh,
Hang
I
on
also
one
heard-
second.
This is the worst
The-
thing about St. Louis is it's you get all the corruption you get in a large city, and there's the tax base of Nashville.
I have heard the federal government is eyeing it pretty closely and
As
is
they should
very
be.
interested in getting a lot of
Well,
money back from
we
the
all
grants
we
that
all
gave
worked
it.
at a development that had public
Everybody but
funds. Everybody but Connor here worked at a place together that had a lot of government money tied up, and it seemed like this is almost like a region where you can just commit crimes openly and nobody cares.
Nobody really gives
Yeah,
a shit.
come to St.
Yeah.
Louis.
Nobody
Launder your
cares.
fucking money in a stupid ass trolley that no
Yeah.
one fucking wants and has just caused nothing but problems.
Or a shopping
waiting-
development downtown that just
Okay.
you
So-
let wither and die.
Rough estimate. That trolley goes from University City Public Library in the Del Mar Loop to the History Museum, right? 2.1 miles.
Okay.
That back and forth.
How
back
much does
and
that cost a mile?
Uh, How much fucking money does it take to run a stupid fucking trolley?
52
Not to
million
mention, you know
plus
what?
200,000
but like-
plus
but
500,000.
But like not including the corruption and
You gotta imagine salaries
obvious
for the
money that they're
trolley
pocketing
drivers,
for
You
themselves.
know what I mean?
What is the budget of the fucking entire St. Louis
I drive
Metro?
a trolley for free. All you
Wouldn't-
do
what?
is
I wouldn't drive the fucking trolley
all you do
for
is
free.
push a fucking stick
Why would
forward,
anybody
then
drive the
brake.
trolley for free?
What
Here's-
is the entire
here's-
budget of the St. Louis Metro? Because I
This-
bet it's fucking less than
This
the
is what I was
goddamn
gonna say. We're
trolley.
overlooking the fact that there was already multiple buses a day running this
Yeah,
exact same
yeah.
route. Like 4 times a day, you could have already got on a bus that went the exact same route.
And it takes like an hour for this to run its route.
Yeah.
Too.
Whereas
A 2-mile
it
route.
used to be like a 22-minute bus ride.
At most.
Yeah.
Metro Transit operating budget of 2016 was 280 million.
So that's for the entire area, which is like probably 40,
Goes into Illinois.
Yeah.
That's a
out
long-
into the
it-
county.
yeah,
it's
it
way
goes down
bigger.
to
it's
yeah.
like 40 square miles,
Yeah.
not like two
Yeah.
2 linear miles.
Yeah. Like,
I was
It's like a
trying
40
to
to
look
50
up.
square mile area.
I was trying to look up how much we spend on policing in the city. It's a far higher number. It's $199 million.
That's not
still
that
not
much.
that much higher.
That's
That's,
under-
alarming.
Yeah,
That's
it's
under
still
the
a
Metro.
third of that.
That's 4 times more.
And we're still like one of the top 10 most dangerous cities every single year. So
Let's
maybe
put a trolley in.
let's put a trolley and that'll make things safer.
in a place that you might get stabbed.
I
in
just love
also.
every
fine
single
area.
time on. I usually get this from the St. Louis subreddit. The trolley comes up. I know it's going to be a good read. I'm waiting for them to run
So-
over a grandma.
So what
Like I
happens
feel like it's
though?
inevitably what's going to happen.
What happens though if the county and the city said, "Fuck you guys,
they have
we're
a
not giving you any more
they have
money."
a contingency plan in place where they have money set aside, right, to actually rip the trolley out and
Yes.
repave the road.
They
It
have
was-
to.
Yeah, they
yeah,
have
it was
to.
one of
They,
the
like, legally have
requirements
to.
to getting the grants in the first place. Is they got an additional grant to set aside to repave the roads and
Because
fix
they knew that
everything.
was going to happen, and this is
100%.
fucking straight up
Every-
organized crime.
Yeah.
This
Every
has been
single
an
person
ongoing
knew that
project
this was
since
gonna
like
happen.
2014,
Oh,
or
yeah.
so maybe
Yeah,
earlier.
yeah.
This
It's been
is
a
like
very
the
long
perfect,
time.
like, and again, I'm not a conservative, but if I were, this would be the. I wouldn't be pointing to like pronoun issues. I'd be like, hey, that $54 million project
That is a
to
waste of
nowhere.
fucking money.
That is what, like, if you
Yeah.
consider
That no
yourself
one
genuinely
fucking
a
wants.
conservative, that should be the thing that like makes you really mad.
Yeah, and they
doubt.
promised hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of revenue from this
And
in
they
the
made-
first year, and they've made 22,000.
20,000.
which
because-
means 11,000 fucking morons.
Have
Yeah.
bought tickets
Yeah,
for
yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah.
I wonder how many bought the ticket and couldn't get a refund and had to mail it in. Are they counting that?
And here's the thing too, like this is one of the few, like we're in St. Louis. There's like a handful of hot spots where people are going. This is one of them. An Uber that takes you the same distance is like $8.
Yeah.
So
Or
wouldn't
just
you,
fucking walk it.
Yeah, but here's the thing: if you've traveled here, like $8 to go from here to here is nothing compared to waiting 2 hours and needing
Oh,
to listen
yeah.
to a stand-up comedian. Like,
I
you know what I
think-
mean? Like, while it just doesn't. It's so out
The
of touch
comedian
and
stuff
so
was a hit the
stupid.
first
A
night. but
trolley
yeah.
would be cool.
That's
if
because it was packed
took
with
you
friends and people in the
to
know.
more areas than just one fucking
Yeah.
street. However,
Yeah.
that's what the metro's for.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Already
just
done.
take that
have
money
it.
and put it into the metro.
Yeah.
And expand
Do
that.
you know how much
even
a
if-
ticket is for a 2-hour pass to get literally wherever you want on any bus and train, and you can $3. It's
Yep.
$3 for a transfer.
Yeah.
A dollar
Anyway.
extra, you can go
Also,
everywhere.
I like how the St. Louis trolley sells an all-day pass for $5, as if I needed to ride up
Right,
and down
back-
St.
Back and
Louis
forth
for 2
between
miles.
2 mile
those 2
stretch.
miles.
Oh,
And that's the
so-
whole thing about the loop. Nobody wants to ride on a fucking trolley and just pass everything.
Yeah,
Right.
You
that's
wanna
the whole
get
point
out
of the
and
loop is
if-
you walk it.
Yeah,
it's a
exactly.
very
Yeah,
short
it's like a-
stretch.
it's
You
a
just
walking
walk
strip.
up and
Exactly.
down
With
it.
It's
shops
your-
and
that's your day.
restaurants and
Yeah.
places to
You
get
have-
drinks. It's a great place for stuff like that. You
Yeah.
don't need a fucking trolley.
And for people not from here, it's very similar to like I forget that there's a very similar stretch in Chicago. Every city has their thing, but it's
Yeah,
Like a
it's
little
just like a
stretch of
stretch of
shopping
shops.
district.
you
and-
go and there's every kind of restaurant, there's every kind of dessert,
Yeah.
there's
Right.
shopping, and
Coffee
there's
shops,
bars.
booze.
So it's like you can go there and spend a day if you're visiting relatives from St. Louis. You know, like nobody is like, you know what I want to do is go straight from the fucking history museum to a library.
Yeah.
like you know,
That's
like
where I want to fucking go.
You know who did the trolley right, I believe? Now, it could be also organized crime.
Where?
St. Charles.
Really?
Because theirs isn't
That's
a
another
fucking
area in
trolley.
St.
It's
Louis.
a bus that
Oh,
just
yeah.
looks
Yeah.
like a trolley.
Which
They don't
is what
need to
should have
spend.
fucking
They don't need to
done.
spend millions and millions of
They didn't have
dollars.
to
I was
tear
gonna say
up
they
the
probably
roads.
spent 1%.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're getting a
it's
little
just-
too local. We're getting real local
it's
over
the
here.
same.
They just made a bus look like a trolley.
Yeah.
We have strong
And it-
feelings about the trolley here.
I know, guys.
And
But
that
it's okay,
goes
it's
that
okay.
goes from St.
The
Charles all
Esplanade
the way
deal.
down.
Listen.
But I'm telling you,
what?
one last thing.
Last thing.
for real. Like
We're going on about the trolley a
this
lot.
is a like if you're not from here and you haven't seen it, It is a $1 million project that has cost $52 million.
And it's continuing
yes.
to cost more because for some reason we keep putting more money in.
And you have Netflix, and Scorsese have The Irishman coming out. What would be more interesting to me is like speculative fiction based on like current.
Edwards.
Hey, write it. We'll get
murdered. We're not doing
together.
that.
Yeah.
We'll get a Kickstarter together.
definitely
and
get
we'll write it.
murdered.
Anyway, guys, that's where we're gonna wrap up the news segment, but that's not where we're ending it yet. We still have to conclude our Donald Marshall saga.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
So we're moving on
Saga.
to Connor's Conspiracy Corner for Donald Marshall Part 3.
It's
Connor,
like an anime. It just keeps building and building and building, and it's all nonsense.
take it away.
So I have a couple questions. I'm going to start this off with, okay?
I love questions.
To all of you and the listeners out there, I want you to think about this one for about 3 seconds before you answer, okay?
Okay. Count to 3, everybody.
What would you do if you could live forever?
Okay. Paige, you first.
I would live forever.
Chris?
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I would seek satisfying employment.
Okay?
If I could live forever, I would just, you guys ever play D&D?
Yeah.
I'd be chaotic evil.
Okay.
I just do everything awful.
Wait, is live forever and immortal the same
Wait,
thing?
no, okay, so
Yes.
let's
Like
clarify that.
if somebody like shoots you in the face, are you dead forever
Let's
still?
clarify that,
Yeah.
though.
Yes,
You know
Connor.
where we're going with
I do
this.
know where we're going with
So
this.
you couldn't necessarily do that because you could still die.
I could.
This is a different sort of living forever.
Mhm.
Okay? Which brings me to my next question.
It's like death becomes her rules kind of thing.
More like, that 2015 sci-fi thriller Self/Liss,
Oh.
The fuck is that?
in which dying billionaire Damian Hayes, played by Ben Kingsley, undergoes a radical medical procedure
Oh, okay.
that transfers his consciousness into the body of a healthy young man.
Sounds a lot like that.
Played by Ryan Reynolds.
Okay.
So, that's exactly my next question. If we were able to shed our old sick bodies
Yeah.
and at the end of our lives and start over, would we?
It's like
Would
altered
I?
carbon.
Fuck yeah,
It
it's
is
a
like
lot
Altered
like
Carbon.
Altered Carbon, the Netflix show. And yeah, I would. What do you mean? Would I? At least for like a while. Like I can probably
Well, what
stop
are
it at
the-
any
You
time,
can't
right?
look at any
Where
mirrors
are the
or
bodies
anything,
coming from? Why can't you look in a mirror?
That's
are you
what
a
they.
vampire?
That's what they say in Altered Carbon because the identity
Will make you go
dissociative
crazy.
disorder
Yeah,
might.
yeah.
'cause you
Anyway,
don't-
let's not get
'cause
too
your-
far into
your
Altered
idea
Carbon.
of what you look like if you look in a mirror, if you've been your stacks.
Let's
been
not
put
get
to
too
the-
far into Altered Carbon because there's much more confusing shit ahead.
Okay, so
Okay. All right.
but if you could do that, would you? If you could,
Yeah.
if you could.
I would at least do it for a little bit. I wouldn't necessarily do it indefinitely.
It depends on like
Do
hey,
it once, right?
Am I like 45 with a terminal illness, or am I like 90? And you know what I mean?
It could be either, just whenever the end
No,
of
I'm
your
saying
life is.
my response changes depending on if I'm dying
okay.
tomorrow
Yeah.
or.
So
What
if
about-
you've already had a full life, you
Yeah.
might not want to do
Yeah.
that anymore.
What about you?
I
can
feel like
understand that.
at like 80, I'd be too tired to be a young person again.
Yep.
Because I had a hard time
Unless
being
you're
a young person
chaotic
the first
evil.
time.
Which I would just be
Yeah.
chaotic evil.
Unless you're a sociopath like Dan.
Yeah.
Let's establish that. Sociopaths would love it.
Yep.
We've heard a lot about whistleblowers in the media.
I love the turns this is taking.
All right.
According to Illuminati whistleblower Donald Marshall,
Ooh.
this technology already exists today. For,
course it
for
does.
privileged members of the Illuminati who never fucking die. All right? They just steal somebody else's body and live forever.
What's that known as?
Body snatching. So that's going to bring us to the first part of this whole microchip heads. I guess saga really is the best word for it.
It's the Donald Marshall saga,
Yeah.
and this body snatching and microchip heads is going to conclude our part 3 on Donald Marshall.
Can you
here,
bring
so-
me up to speed? And
Oh yeah, of course. And for those
You
of you who
covered
haven't
that.
listened, let's just do it real quick. Basically,
recap on your
How
Donald
do you
Marshall
recap
saga.
this all quickly?
real quickly,
though?
check us
Blah,
out.
blah,
Watch this. I'm
blah,
gonna do it
blah,
really
blah,
quick. So Donald Marshall is a clone. He has written many famous songs that you love. He has been
I'm gonna
cloned
get some of those.
many times. There is a secret society known as the Vril. Think of them as lizard people living beneath the surface.
Okay.
The Nazis have worked
Not
with
a
them.
not a stretch because I know the lizard people control everything. so
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not a
exactly.
problem.
He created Single Ladies by Beyonce.
Yep.
Is this a list?
Yeah, he's got
yeah,
a list
yeah,
of
yeah.
A
songs.
perfect circle?
Yeah.
You're going to go far, kid,
Hold on,
by
we-
The Offspring.
We
Yep.
can't get too far into this because we've already covered these grounds. But yes, those are some of the songs.
There's a heart song
These
on the
are
list
some of the songs
attributed
that
to-
Donald Marshall has
Yeah.
wrote. Basically, they keep these clones.
Duck sauce.
They've been using Donald Marshall as like a creative slave, basically.
Yeah.
And this is the Illuminati and the
I love there's a
Grill.
Metallica
And the
song on the
Grill,
list.
the Queen's involved. Everybody famous you ever known is doing this.
Everybody's doing this but you.
Tila
Yeah.
Tequila has confirmed it.
Mhm.
That's what
So
we
is
covered.
B.O.B..
Where we brought you up to basically.
So if
dispute.
you're famous, if you're remotely famous, you're part of the lizard
you know
species.
about it at least, yes.
Yeah.
You're either
Um,
working for or with or
yes.
are a lizard person.
Yes,
Mhm.
Okay.
exactly.
Well,
Recap accomplished.
Not
Like you brought up to
necessarily. You're not necessarily a lizard person, but you're in league with the
Yes,
lizard
Yeah,
I'm
people.
sorry.
no, that's what I just
Yeah,
said.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like
Okay.
my statement,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
previous statement, just covered all those.
So
So you're up to speed.
yeah, okay.
this body snatching, okay? Basically, what they do is kidnap people. Doesn't matter who. They just kidnap. I mean, Donald Marshall. They kidnapped him, right?
As a small child.
Yeah, as a small child, he
These are
was
like
brought
cartel
to this,
rules.
He was brought to this cloning facility.
Think of like
and
Halo rules more.
Yeah. Utilizing top secret microchip technology. They essentially download the consciousness from the brain of these Illuminati people. I don't know, ultra wealthy, most likely white people. And they put that consciousness of in their brain, they put it on a microchip, and then they transfer that data by implanting the microchip into another brain, usually of the person that they body snatched.
So Danny Trejo probably isn't a vril. Is that a piece of hope that I can hold on to?
Danny
Is
Trejo
it
does
like-
some really low budget movies. I feel like there's no way he's part of the bro.
Okay, good.
This means that the elite, the people at the very top,
We're talking the tippy top.
Yeah.
We're talking the Clintons. We're talking the Bushes. We're talking
Maybe
about the
even-
Queen Elizabeth.
Your Jude
Yeah.
Laws.
We're talking about
yeah,
Jude Law.
absolutely.
We're talking about Danny DeVito.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay.
Danny DeVito.
Now I
Yep.
understand.
Which happy birthday, Danny DeVito.
Today's Danny DeVito's
He's
birthday.
75.
Snaps? No.
Happy birthday, Danny DeVito.
Have you seen that Danny DeVito mask going around that people are wearing? It's
No.
horrifying. You should look.
It's
up a
like the
picture.
Walter
I
White
love
mask.
it.
What a-
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
the baby.
What a pivot and divot.
the baby mask.
Okay, so do you think you're safe from being body snatched, Chris?
Me? No,
Fuck no,
because
you're not.
I have potential.
Fuck no, you're
and
not.
I honestly believe that if you have any potential, the fucking Vril are going to come
Yep.
and take
For
you.
Yep.
sure. No
Right?
doubt. Yeah, I would.
So the Illuminati have so many new people joining all the time. You know, you can go on their website right now and apply for membership. But
You guys, we need to go
Paige, I
apply
feel like
for
you have the best chance of getting
membership.
accepted. You should.
they're gonna fucking body snatch you if you join.
You guys, I'm gonna join the Illuminati.
Okay, so-
okay, go ahead.
All of these, Donald Marshall says that these young people join the Illuminati under hopes and promises of fame, fortune, things like that. You
Mhm.
know. But in reality, not everybody can become the next Donald Marshall, writing
Of
famous
course.
songs like that Goat Ye song.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody
Or-
that I
or-
used to know.
Or
Yeah.
a B track from a Heart album from the
Yep.
mid '80s, which was
Yep.
listed.
Also, all the movies that he's written too.
Well,
We won't
don't
get
even get
into
into that.
So basically, at the end of the day, they kidnap these people and they download the consciousness of these old elite people that are about to pass
So,
away.
like, imagine
Oh, so it's the plot of what's his name's movie?
who's.
You talking about the 2015 sci-fi thriller Self/Less?
No. It's like why can't I think of Jordan Peele's first movie that was
Get
Get
Out.
Out.
Get Out.
It's
Yeah.
like Get Out. Yeah, yeah.
It's
yeah.
Get Out.
It's
But
Get Out.
even
and a
more
lot of other
importantly-
movies.
Even more importantly, Self/Less has a 19% on Rotten Tomatoes.
We're not going for the movie that everybody liked that has the same
Nope.
plot. We're
Nope.
going for the.
So they I'm backing up yet again and repeating myself. They kidnap these people, and they basically download this consciousness and they put it in the other person. So this person
Makes sense.
no longer exists. They are essentially a host for these ultra wealthy and elite people to
Just like Get
continue
Out.
their lives in a new body. Yeah.
Yes.
Just like Get Out.
Basically,
just
they
like
transfer their consciousness into
A young,
exactly
healthy
the words
body.
you just said. Yeah.
right with a microchip.
like Ryan Reynolds or
Did we
something
get
like
there?
that. Yeah.
In what?
From the 2015
Self/less.
sci- All right, I'll stop beating a dead horse with that one. So, according to Marshall, life as a microchip head comes with a few surprises. He's a clone and a microchip head, I believe.
Wait,
He's both.
whoa! I never knew
Mhm.
this.
How else would he know all this?
I think he's just witnessed it personally.
Oh,
I don't think he's a
okay,
microchip head because Donald Marshall can be controlled by no man.
no land cable can control Donald Marshall.
So, life as a microchip head comes with a few surprises, okay?
I bet.
For reasons unknown,
Yep.
classic. Elite scientists have been unable to design out the tendency for chip heads, is what he calls them, chip heads.
Chip heads.
They have been unable to design out the tendency for chip heads to revert to a primitive state and take sport in herding, hunting, and eating people, including children.
Good.
Yep.
Okay?
That's
So
a minimum requirement.
Yeah.
You don't eat children if you want to pass in normal society.
if you know somebody that hunts,
They're probably a chip
they're
head.
probably a chip head, and they probably eat children in their spare time.
Wow.
Makes sense.
Heavy satire.
Heavy satire. So you come back all right, okay?
Mhm.
Let's pretend you come back all right. Or
These sound like Pet Cemetery 2 rules.
you could come back
you
as a
bury your-
sick,
you bury your
twisted
stepdad.
pervert.
Yeah.
These are all spray painted
Okay.
and
Yeah.
incorrectly spelt somewhere on the side.
But people like Illuminati, they don't give a shit about right or wrong, right?
No.
They do what benefits them. If they can live forever by stealing Dan's body,
Who wouldn't want to
Why-
steal this
why the
body
fuck
too,
wouldn't they?
honestly?
I've been all up in your body. It's pretty
Okay.
decent.
Mhm.
It's mushy.
and
Yeah.
since the
warm.
Illuminati encompasses everything that we know and love,
Especially this segment.
they
Like
can get away
Beyonce.
with anything they want, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
So is this microchipping limited to just people that they take?
no, but
No.
we'll get there in a second.
Okay.
We're gonna ask one more question
Okay,
before we
we gotta
wrap
get the
up
3
this
questions.
description of
Before
it.
we get to the bottom of this wormhole.
So to the return to the premise of the 2015 sci-fi thriller
Self/List. Easy.
What does immortality feel like to you guys? What do you think it feels like?
Your consciousness existing forever.
I imagine immortality feels like coming 1,000 times.
Wait, what?
So just
Paige,
because
what about
we,
you?
That's not what living feel. Living doesn't feel like coming
So
all the
I
time.
like
Just
how you
because
just
we
threw that out, and
can-
Connor's just like, yep.
just because
coming all the time.
just because we can come all the time, does it mean we should?
Yeah.
I
It
mean,
really undervalues coming.
I don't know. I've come a lot this month,
I don't
and
know.
it's No Nut November.
I feel
Donald-
like it feels like
Damn,
nothing. I
dude.
don't feel like existence feels like anything.
Yeah, but also
Like,
immortality would feel like a pretty worthless existence. I
I
feel like
guess I don't know.
wasn't the whole never.
Don't
mind.
make it worthless. Be a king.
Don't get all
There you go.
philosophical.
Yeah, we'll worry about that
on us.
another time. So now repeat your question. Can they only
Is it only
Microchip.
possible to microchip people that they've taken, or what?
In-
Can they microchip? I don't know. Perhaps.
Okay,
somebody who's
so-
been cloned.
How about you have that interview up, then we can start that
Yeah,
because
yeah.
that
You want to read
covers
some of this interview?
that
with Donald
covers the
Marshall?
part that you're talking about at the very beginning. Okay,
So this article comes from how would you pronounce
Oric?
it? Oric
Oric?
Media, and this is
.net.
by Blockman Max
So-
Blacksmith of Truth.
I
So-
will read the first segment and then you'll read the
Mhm.
Donald Marshall
Mhm.
quotes. Okay, so a dead chiphead, okay, otherwise known as a reanimated chiphead or an undead chiphead. A dead and undead, okay, whatever.
They-
I'm gonna
They sound like very different things. but
I'm
I
going
can
to
roll with
choose
you.
to ignore that. A dead chiphead is one who has a flawed copy of their or someone else's dead consciousness recorded on an apple seed-sized microchip called the Soul Stone. Okay? It's also called the consciousness chip or the soul catcher. We'll call it the Soul Stone. Okay, so a dead chiphead, otherwise known as a reanimated chiphead or for some reason an undead chiphead, is one who has a flawed copy of their or someone else's dead consciousness recorded on an apple seed-sized microchip called the Soul Stone.
That seems like a huge chip. This
It
day
seems
and
like
age.
a really big chip.
To have
Now-
shoved in your head. If you have a tumor that size in your brain, you're
That's
gonna have
bad
some
news.
fucking issues.
Yeah.
Like,
So, this is where Dan asks his question. They can either kidnap a real body and implant this microchip in their head, or through previously discussed cloning methods, they can implant this chip into a clone's body.
like Baby Yoda from the mantle.
They don't like the term dead chip head. The chip
course
head.
they don't.
it's offensive.
They prefer to be called re-life.
Chip heads never
Wait,
die,
Wait, they prefer to be
bro.
called what?
Re-lifed.
Okay.
And then Don says, I'll read this quote because it's just a quick one in the middle of this one, okay? Don says that they can drill a hole in a person's head, or they can remove one's eyeball and insert the chip with a rod to a certain depth in the brain. and then they turn it on,
Wait.
and it body snatches the person via technology, as
Via
opposed,
magic.
as opposed to a vril lizard that body snatches one parasitically.
Yeah,
Oh.
you missed that.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
part of it.
that's real.
So they literally just have a little pokey stick that they use to push this into your brain. Okay.
They
So
just-
there's like lizard scientists who are like, back in my grandpa's day, we parasitically absorbed the
Yep.
humans, but now we have a sophisticated system of putting rods in their brain
Yep.
with Appleseed-sized microchips because
Yep.
that's more efficient.
Yep.
Anyway,
Okay.
You want to read the first Donald Marshall quote right there?
yeah,
Do you see
Donald
that?
goes on to say,
Oh,
it,
yes.
it messes with the person for like a month or something. They can only sleep, get up, and eat. They have to have a nurse with them. They can reanimate you into a shadow. You become an evil, gay child molester. They all do. It's flawed. They have neurosurgeons trying to fix this problem. All over the world, German scientists, Asian, Russian, they can't fix it. They would stop doing it, but they fear death. Said they're scared of possibly facing God's judgment and will reanimate themselves. They record your consciousness on just a chip. Pardon me. They record your consciousness on a chip just before you die. Then they implant the chip in a clone's body or a victim's head. Then they implant this chip in a clone, but use chips now. That's an undead chip head. I'm reading quotes.
Yeah.
Well, I can see why people are lining up by the thousands to follow whoever said that statement.
Can do it to a clone body and have can do it to a clone body and have to just get a replacement body like every 6 months or so, or a real body stolen, which makes it have less side effects and no need to change bodies. Destroy the Mindworks satellite, all the undead chip heads will drop. They don't even need to be executed. A push of a button will deactivate them.
So it's a satellite? It's a satellite that...
You know how like every movie has that Deus Ex Machina that if you just shut it, like, you guys ever seen The Edge of Tomorrow? It has just like a thing they have to shut down and it kills them all. That's how the chip heads work.
Yeah. Okay. So you were doing a like Minnesota voice.
Canadian-ish.
Is that what he sounds
Yeah,
like?
well,
Okay.
I don't know how good of an impression I'm doing of Don, but he's from Canada.
Is that what you're doing though?
Yeah, it's supposed to be like
Okay.
Canadian Northern.
Edge
'Cause
of Tomorrow, the 2014
I was wondering what the source of
sci-fi
It's a
voice
northern
you were
voice.
using.
It's an up north voice.
So, Chris, to let you know, to recap on a tiny bit of this too, dead chips, he's described what kind of people are dead chips usually and how to spot them. And it's like gay people, anybody part of that community, anybody
Yeah.
with mental illness or deficiencies of any kind.
basically, if you're different in any way, Don thinks
If
that
you're
you're
not-
a fucking clone or a lizard person.
If you're not a
Yep.
straight white male like Christian, you're basically a dead chip,
Okay.
is the idea here.
So Donald.
Yeah.
Is the switch to
You
deactivate
just
the chip
answered
heads?
for it.
Pardon me?
That's so
These
funny.
questions make no
Pardon
sense.
me, what'd you just ask me, Sonny?
Is the switch to... I'm going to read this quote. And tell me if it makes sense. Is the switch to deactivate the chip heads the cloning center or through computer?
what?
Unknown about the Switch. I seen them deactivate them, though. They just shut it off. No pain or anything.
Who has access to this button?
Mind computers. Company is one way. They have backups. But this mind computer company must be stopped. They have a site on the net even. Lol.
Wait, what is the site?
half,
Do they have the site?
describing half the stuff they can do. Lol.
Do they have the site listed?
Don't know about souls and clones. I feel like real life, unless they've drugged the clone with something, smack your own face and all, then you cry because you know the evil hag has activated the clone while you're in REM sleep stage, then you got mad, lol.
What the fuck does any of this even mean?
I
This is
feel like when a
incoherent.
clone, I have a soul, same as in real, same feeling. I'm curious, George Bad. I had to know everything. I wondered about the soul too, so they did. They don't know what happens to your, quote, consciousness, as they call it, and I only preserve a flawed negative of you. They have lots of theories. All I know is I don't want to go wherever they end up. Or I'll come back Mark III or Mark IV clone for Elizabeth to stab Queen Elizabeth.
yeah.
Megadeth, which he also is on an album cover for, which you mentioned in episode
He's
1.
on a Megadeth album cover?
Claims to be.
Oh.
Megadeth, the worst thing I can say can happen to the living thing. It keeps people from talking. They would have been killed if they talked, or killed and cloned after death and tortured over and over, clone to clone all the time, no REM required after you're dead. He, George Bush Sr., might have been one of those clones, Mark III or IV. There are a bunch. They need replacing.
Time out. I really like how there's no previous mention of George Bush Sr., yet he still refers to him as he.
Yeah, like everyone's
It's-
just gonna know who that is.
It's in brackets.
meaning
Yeah.
it's or added
meaning
for
it's-
clarity.
Yeah, it's added for clarity.
Good, because they didn't mention him at all before.
Nope.
This, so
They go to certain military hospitals. There's one by Camp David in the States and get a new body. The brain degrades. Whole body internally degrades. That's why cloned organs can't be used for transplant. They're grown too quickly. They're not the same tissue that grew over years. And if they tried to make that kind of clone, it would be underwater in the tube and skin would bloat after too long and the skin would be all messed up. Takes like 5 months to make a clone. They can probably make them even faster now. They're always making tech smaller and reducing time for stuff they put a lot of money into. This is...
the rest of this is...
I think I gotta read the next little part. But the clone's mentally unstable. They're like missing essential behavioral requirements like the original had. But as clones, they have a very one-track mind and are prone to being more jealous and get angry easier and dumber when they think people are making fun of them. And they get deadly because they're pissed off that this person is a real person, doesn't suffer inside with the effects of being a dead clone, and
it's just,
clone attacks.
It's just 5 R's.
This is why they have handlers, so they don't try to kill people sometimes and keep them clear of stressful situations. There is one kind of handler, though.
So we'll just do little short. The rest, I mean, it's just Donald Marshall rambling, fucking on. But a little bit further down, we get some shorter answers that we can go over.
Who is this interviewing him?
Interviewer.
It says Jesse Marin later on.
Yeah, it says just
From where?
It just says question for
This
like
is like
half of the
over an
questions.
email, I assume, because it says lol a lot.
Yeah, it's just like somebody caught. And then at some point it starts saying, like this one, Katie Wright whale song.
What?
That's just what
That's
it
what
says.
it says.
Okay.
For
Just
the
what it
person
says.
asking
The
the question.
interviewer's name is Katie Wright whale song. When the chip is placed into a victim, do they die, or does their consciousness remain and become overshadowed by the chip personality? So the chip, what they're asking is, if we kidnap Chris, okay,
Do it.
Poor
And we
Chris.
put him
I
on the
dare you,
operating table.
motherfuckers.
But this is actually kind of good.
Clone me.
This is actually kind of good referring to Get Out, because if you've seen Get Out, it answers this question. They're not completely gone when they put that microchip in.
You
there.
want to put me
Right.
in the sunken
Because in
place?
Get
There's still
Out,
an
but
element
the
of 'em.
difference about Get Out is they put a specific part of the brain in them. They don't upload it onto a chip or anything like that. So a lot of the other person's brain is still there, so they
Right.
can still sort of.
Right.
But in this case, they're putting a complete uploaded consciousness, and somehow they're
Like on a
hooking-
USB, basically.
yeah, and somehow they're just plugging a flash drive into their ear, and somehow it's overriding everything in that person's brain. But they ask, when the chip is placed into the victim, do they die, or does their consciousness remain and become overshadowed by the chip's personality? When the chip is not activated, does the body of the victim go into a coma? How does it work?
Well, let me tell you.
B.
Total donation. No coming back. Chip has to be in a certain part of the brain, but they're constantly upgrading the technology and have hinted that the chips can be put anywhere in the body, and they can just link to the brain via the is it supposed to say minute electrical current that runs through the body of people's brains. I'm gonna reread all that. Total donation. No coming back. Chip has to be in a certain part of the brain, but they're constantly upgrading the technology and have hinted that the chips can be put anywhere in the body, and they can just link to the brain via minute electrical current that runs through the people's bodies naturally. They've got a lot of tech. Don't get the chip ever.
So this invader, the entity that takes over via a chip, inherits all the talents of the original?
Can access most memories. If the person has a good voice for singing, then they just use that voice. With minor training, they can reproduce the same quality of singing that the original can manage.
Do they carry that to the next host?
Ooh, that's a good
Ooh, like
question.
yeah, does it follow you to every host?
Yeah.
So you pick up that
Ooh.
talent.
Is it
and
like
it's-
having Teflon in your system?
Maybe.
You give it to all your descendants forever and they get more and more developmentally disabled?
Maybe. That's a good question. Now, does the copy of your consciousness remember their actual death?
Yes.
You just turned into a Rob Schneider character.
But can they be reprogrammed with different stuff as well? Guess not.
What's the stuff?
That's just
Let me back up. After he said yes, he said, if they spoke multiple languages when alive, then they will remember.
no shit. Because
Could they be
it's-
reprogrammed with different shit and stuff?
Yeah, they can get additional programming. Wouldn't be able to learn a new language once dead shiphead, though.
Do you read that next?
If you get an RFID chip, even in your arm, it acts as a brain chip. They've upgraded the technology and can
Whoa.
upload a dead consciousness onto you, and it only takes a short time for them to become coherent. Once the chip is shut down, the original person comes back into control.
So that answers our question. They're not actually gone
Mhm.
until the chip is shut down. Again.
Until the chip is shut down. And according to Don Marshall, I don't know if this says it, if any of your articles said this, but there's several videos of chip heads shutting down and chip heads malfunctioning.
Are they all tweakers like freaking out in public?
No,
Or
it's
all
like
people like
it's
having
like
strokes.
or
I
it's like
assume.
famous
Something
people just
fucking
like
awful.
misspeaking.
Oh.
Or like I'm pretty sure like Ashley Simpson's thing on stage.
No. We did talk about this. Remember, there is that video of that newscaster who had a stroke
Oh yes.
on
Yeah.
while it
Yeah.
was live, and he says she's a dead chip, and
He
that's
said
what
that
happened.
she was a dead chip. You know the famous clip where the woman's talking and then like she just blabbles off into something because she had a stroke on air.
She's saying words, but it's not a coherent
And
sentence.
Donald Marshall is saying that's an example of a dead chip head dying.
Yep.
Makes complete sense.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Sure.
out of all that Donald Marshall has graced us with, out of all of
Given
this secret
society.
information, okay?
We've pretty much covered it all at this point.
This is the only secret that Donald Marshall wasn't supposed to talk about.
There was
dead chips.
one. There's
That's just
Out of
what-
everything.
the secret
That's-
society was like, all right, Don, you can give up 99% of our secrets.
But
But
don't
there's
tell him about
One
the
fucking
microchip.
thing, dude. You are not allowed to
Don't
talk
tell him about
about
the microchip.
That's literally the last sentence of this
yeah. That's
quote unquote article.
and that's pretty much all me and Connor got to deliver. I feel like
because
that's the basic
all,
facts.
That's all there is.
I feel like that's
really.
the facts.
That's all
Yeah,
we know.
Yeah.
Paige, you took notes.
I have some notes. I'm ready to do things with these notes.
Do it.
Yep.
So before we go, should we do one final while we wrap this Donald Marshall saga up? Should we do one final check on his Twitter?
Oh my God! Let's check on his Twitter
yeah.
See
before we
if
wrap up.
anything
How
new-
about
What's
before we move on to
up?
Donald Marshall's Twitter, which is a tradition we always wrap it up with? Paige, let's go over your notes.
Oh, I just scribbled some words because I want to maybe make a T-shirt out of this.
Oh, that's it. That's
why
all
I
your
wrote
notes
these.
are
You just
for?
want to have
But I
like you want
have-
to sell Don Marshall
I
was
have-
right shirts.
I have dead chip head,
Chipheads are fucking dope
apple
shirts, dude.
seed-sized microchip, soul stone, malfunctioning chips, relifed, undead chip head, satellite controls all chips, and flawed negative.
Flawed negative is the shirt.
Yeah,
That's the shirt.
I know. I like that
That's
a
a
lot.
Like,
good one.
So
The PearCast should
there
sell
might be
shirts
some
that say
merch
flawed
soon,
negative.
guys.
It just says the front is flawed, the back is negative. I get half of gross sales after cost.
I've got some ideas for some
So
shirts.
half of net
so
sales.
Keep an
You
eye
Just
out.
put an
Yeah.
apple seed on a shirt too.
Merch.danpearBig.com.
You got to be super in the know.
Anyway, yeah, let's go on finalizing our Donald Marshall saga with
that-
what we do every single time and go on to his Twitter.
D. Marshall
Was
Truth.
that Putin and Greta
Probably.
Yeah, he's
Thunberg?
definitely got a Greta Thunberg
Thunberg?
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, there you
It
go.
came out today. So this came out today in the post I put up yesterday. Weird. I've started a trend, and the article is this new Greta Thunberg mural in San Francisco looks more like Vladimir Putin. That's the article he retweeted.
Interesting.
He's got a lot of tweets about Vladimir Putin, and again, just a lot of like happy Saturday tweets.
Wait, go down. Smashing
Uh,
Pumpkins, go down. There. Smashing Pumpkins clones, we're all.
That
What?
is a
Oh,
YouTube
it's a cover,
video.
never mind.
Good night on November 5th. Good
posted, like,
afternoon.
He's got a
Basic
bear.
ass white girl
Afternoon.
cutesy pictures. Like, where's the live, laugh, love on here?
Here's his November 1st, the day after Halloween. He's got afternoon, afternoon, lots of kids in the world with some stomach aches today.
That is not Donald Marshall in the picture.
That
No,
might,
that's
that
his
might be his
child.
actual child.
I don't think that he has.
I don't think he has children.
children.
You
It's a
don't-
white
Does he have a
pumpkin inside
pumpkin
of
with
an
an
orange
eyeball
one.
too?
He posted that. Good morning, everyone. He posts a lot of pictures of
yeah.
coffee.
That's just like,
It's
have
not
a good
his.
Day.
It's like stock footage of coffee on YouTube. On Twitter.
Is
For
it
those
Burger
telling
King?
me the new Burger King logo is fake, Look at the ad for their new Ghost Whopper. I love being right all the time.
If you
It's an
keep-
eye. It's an eye. The new Burger
Yeah.
King logo is an eye.
I like this Jamaican jerk sauce picture. If you keep scrolling down a little bit,
Oh man.
I think it's
So many pictures of
Wait
just
a
like,
second.
good night, have a nice day, good afternoon. I didn't
Things
see
my
it.
mom shares on Facebook. It's
Did you
like what
see it?
these
Oh, there it
photos
is, there it
remind
is.
me of.
Got a roast and some Jamaican jerk sauce. Roast is marinating in it right now. Going to bake it with potatoes and carrots. Yum.
I
He's
just,
like literally my mom 90% of the time on Twitter.
I just like
And
that
then he's
it's
like, hey,
Yum.
chiphead, sir.
Yeah.
I just like the picture because I bet you if I Google Jamaican jerk sauce,
It comes up real quick in the,
it's there it is,
yeah,
First thing.
second row.
first page. Yep.
Anyway, I think that is going to wrap up all of our parts on Donald Marshall. I think this is going to be the last
Donald
time we
Marshall.
ever
Let's
talk
fucking
about
hope so.
Donald
You are a
Marshall on the
gift to the
podcast
world.
again.
I just want to say on behalf of all my fellow chipheads, everything Don Marshall said is true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Don't criticize him.
Okay.
Praise him.
And don't come after me, internet.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Well, that's a fair point. And actually, that's going to wrap up the entire podcast here for the evening.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, guys, if you want to find more episodes of us, obviously, if you're listening to it now, you can just find it on your favorite podcasting
nice
app.
and warm.
There's also YouTube videos up on our YouTube. Just look up the PearCast, subscribe to it. There's highlights, there's full episodes, all on my YouTube page, which you can find more information at DanPearBig.com. You can find the latest YouTube videos. Some of my Twitch broadcasts, I'm on Twitch at twitch.tv/DanPearBig. And on
Mhm.
Twitter at DanPearBig. Guys, the podcast website, I guess, is danpearbig.com/PearCast. And that's about all I have to say. Paige,
That's all we got.
Yeah, that's all I got.
what do you got? You got a plug?
I am not quite heroes on like everything, except I don't really know how Twitter works and I never use it. So find me on other social medias.
Dope.
Not quite heroes. HEROES.
Connor?
Check me out on Twitch, twitch.tv/the Lord Otter, and on Twitter at Lord Otter Games, right?
That's it.
my Twitter
Right?
handle.
I like how you
Twitter
have to
handle.
check.
I always
And,
forget if it's the Lord Otter Games or Lord Otter Games.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And Chris?
I'm Chris motherfucking Bruemmer, and I'm gonna be like super famous in 2 years.
Motherfucking.
So look for me everywhere in 2 to 3 years.
Everywhere.
Yeah, because I'll be dominating media.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be back next month
Next month.
with the latest conspiracy, a new conspiracy,
No fucking
as well
idea
as
what we're
the
gonna do.
month's top funny stories.
Can't come back from that.
Hopefully, we'll have some.
It won't be about body snatching or fucking dolphins.
Nope.
We've crossed both of those barriers.
crossed
What about
both
the
those
woman who got a
barriers.
bucket of diarrhea dumped on her
I'm
head?
sorry I didn't have that news
Whoa.
story. Connor sent me a news story about a woman that got diarrhea dumped. on
I
her
heard
head.
about
was
that.
by
We
a
can't talk
man.
about
I
it
heard
too
about
much.
that
It was
now.
by a man.
We're at the
suffering
end
a
of the
psychotic
podcast
break,
here.
I think so. It's probably good not to.
Thank you guys for listening. We
I
hope
like
to see you in the future. Please subscribe on whatever device you're listening on. If you haven't already, it helps us out.
Do it.
And that's all I pretty
Enjoy
much got
these
to say.
egg yolks.
Yeah.
Enjoy these-
Yeah.
which is the lava lamp we have on set that nobody can see if they're listening.
It's beautiful.
Just pretend you can see it.
It's green and
Close your
Blue
eyes
and
while
egg
you're
yolky.
listening
Yeah.
to this.
It's definitely on the cooler
And
end of the
imagine
spectrum.
an egg yolk floating up and down.
Great end of the podcast, guys.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye bye, friends.
You saying gnocchi?